What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Can everybody hear me? Testes, 1, 2. I think everybody can. If you can't, let me know in the chat room. Anyway, we are in, what is this? A Baller Friday! That's right. I hope you are hype about Baller Friday, folks. This is episode number 606. Episode number 606 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And once again, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Yeah, I'm telling you, baby. They ain't banning nobody over here. Anyway, go ahead and add this to your bookmarks. Add this to your favorites right now. Type it in your browser, ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser. That's it, ghost.report. Add that to your bookmarks. Add that to your favorites. That is the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And spread that around like wildfire. And once again, I'd like to remind everybody to please follow me on my only social media representation on the internet. And like I said, folks, if anyone, anywhere, in any other social media is trying to pretend to be me, it's fake and gay, okay? So once again, my only social media representation on the internet is on Gab, folks. And if you don't have yourself a free Gab account at this point, then I don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Stop what you're doing right now. Type in your browser, gab.ai, okay? gab.ai, and get yourself a free account at Gab. It is the last bastion of freedom of speech on the internet today. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding, man. I mean, they're banning people for anything. I mean, if you have fell victim to the ban hammer on any one of these mainstream social media sites, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So go ahead and get yourself a Gab account, and once you do, follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All right, all one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab. That's my only social media representation. Anyone else claiming to be me on any other social media is not. Okay, it is not me. So with that being said, follow me on my preferred and my only social media, Gab. Politics Ghost is the name. And by the way, I want to say Happy Baller Friday to the inner circle, and I definitely want to say Happy Baller Friday to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Let me go ahead and give some shout-outs to whoever the hell's in the True Capitalist Radio chat room right now. And, of course, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, it's as simple as this, all right? Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and hit the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Hit the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and private message me on Gab. Private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name so I can give you a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. That's how you get here, baby. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and give some shout-outs to some peeps here. Let's go ahead and go, what's going on to Turkey Taters? What's going on to Tesla Cyberheart? What's going on to TCR Mercenary 88? What's going on to Stagio? Nat in the house. Mr. E-Man. Metaform. We got Man Bear Pig. Herb Master. Hans Uberlander. El Sereno. What's up to El Sereno? Cyber Necro in the house. What's going on, man? We got Capitalist America's Broken Battery. We've got Brodog, we've got Blasphemous Bastard, we've got Birds of Prey, we got Haggard Shekels, and we've got the Pet Mexican. And yes, I see what you're doing there, the Pet Mexican. I'll get right on it. I don't want to intertwine that with the show, all right? So chew on the rubber tortilla, and we'll get to that, and I'll make sure to hook you up, all right? And everybody else, too, that has mailed me about that. Anyway, regardless of what the Pet Mexican and I were just discussing here, we're going to go right into the broadcast on this Baller Friday. But before I do, folks, I definitely want to say cheers to everybody. I am not drinking once again. I am continuing, believe it or not, amidst all the adverse mental and physical effects of trying to withdraw from alcohol cold turkey. I have continued on, and I am on day, 46, I think? I think I'm on day 46, if I'm not mistaken. And as a result, folks, I do want to have a drink, but not because I want to have one for the sake of woohoo and shit. I want to have one, folks, because, hey, look, I'm not trying to be a party pooper on a Baller Friday, but I'm having major withdrawal symptoms from alcohol. Now, I just want to make this a small little public service announcement while discussing a little bit about my personal life here. It was unbeknownst to me that I was a major alcoholic. Now, I want to be honest with you, folks, I didn't think of it this way because all I did was drink it in the evening. You know, once I've accomplished all of my capitalist endeavors and, you know, didn't have to, you know, be on top of any kind of, being a big-time capitalist. You know, I could rest. I decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to crack open some brews, and I'm going to kick back. This is my leisure activity. This is what I appreciate. Well, unfortunately, folks, little did I know that consuming anywhere from 10 to 12 beers a night, sometimes 15, well, let me put it this way. A lot of the times, 15 beers. All right, I'm sorry, all right? Anyway, anywhere from 12 to 15 beers an evening. And occasionally I would either throw anywhere from 2 to 4 shots. And I would just do this in the evening. That was it. And I did this for at least 10 years, okay? And, well, a little less than 10 years. I guess it's about 8 years, right? I guess I would say about 8 years, okay? 8 years straight. 8 to 10, 8 years, 8 years. As a result, folks, because I have consumed the massive amount of quantity of alcohol that I would do on a consistent, habitual, daily basis, I was, I guess, put in the alcoholic category, and now that I'm trying to go cold turkey, from what I understand, this is one of the most dangerous things that anybody could ever do, you know? The most dangerous things that anybody could ever do is go cold turkey, trying to, wean yourself out of alcohol here. And as a result, folks, I want to be completely honest with you. The first 40 days of weaning myself out of alcohol was all right. I didn't really have any urges per se, because the whole reason why I stopped, folks, was because, your body tells you things. The insides of your body tell you things, and, you have to listen to them, and I listened to them, and thank God I did, because I feel a hell of a lot better as far as my digestive system is concerned, and, a couple other things that were probably bothering me that I let overlook for too long. Aside from that, folks, I just definitely wanted to take a break, considering that I had been drinking for so long. And then again, folks, I also wanted to stop drinking because we are in an era of Trump economy. It is a great time to be an American, and the whole reason why I started drinking to begin with was because we got elected Obama, and during the Obama administration, folks, if you people were working or had a business or doing anything of any kind of economic productivity, you knew it was a very hard time. And what I mean by a hard time, I had to work about 1,000 times harder just to maintain the lifestyle that my wife and my family were accustomed to. And as a result of that stress, because lest we forget, the dollar was worth dick back then. Remember that. Remember, just take a look at the gold charts from those days. And gold was up to almost $3-4 grand. We had silver prices at $80 a troy ounce. That, like I've always said, folks, a higher metals price signifies the lack of worth of a fiat currency. So as a result, folks, because of the fact that I had to work like a madman during the Obama administration, produced a lot of stress on somebody here, and as a result, what I did is I just decided to go ahead and start drinking to compensate for the overexertion of work, things of that capacity. And not to mention, Obama was a horrible president that attempted to turn the United States of America into some socialist, quasi-communist crap. And I don't want to go over the whole reasons why. You can go back in the archives. You guys that have been listening to me for a long time know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, what I'm saying is now that I've stopped drinking, I am finding that I'm having a very, very bad time with not just physical withdrawal symptoms, but mental withdrawal symptoms. I mean, actual mental withdrawal symptoms. I'm even embarrassed to even admit it, for fuck's sake. I'm having withdrawal symptoms, of course, of anxiety attacks. I'm going into manic episodes. I'm not even kidding around. And the only reason I'm not going crazy is because I'm catching myself, and I can catch myself in mid manic episode to kind of stop and question myself, like, why the hell am I acting this way? What am I doing? I'm getting heart palpitation. I mean, you name it, folks. I mean, every goddamn withdrawal symptom that's out there for alcohol withdrawal, I am having it, with the exception of, God forbid, let me fucking knock on wood, a goddamn seizure. Okay, I'm glad I haven't had one of those, but I've had every other alcohol withdrawal symptom. Now, that's why, if I'm going to be candid with each and every one of you that are listening, is the reason why I want to go back to drinking. And I even went and as far as told the Inner Circle, and hey, props to the 4 Inner Circle members that are new. What's going on, man? Cheers to you guys. But I informed the Inner Circle that I could potentially start drinking again this weekend. And it wasn't because I had the urge to drink and, I want to go out and party. It's not even because of that anymore. Now I just want to drink to just keep the goddamn withdrawal symptoms away, man. I mean, the withdrawal symptoms are pathetic. It's sick. I mean, it pisses me off that we're not advising people about this. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. I always knew that alcohol was unhealthy. I always knew that, hey, you drink alcohol, you know that you're going to have some, issues with your digestive organs, your liver. You could be potentially burning a lot of brain cells. There's a lot of things there. I get it, okay? Little did I know that alcohol is literally a substance that you could be physically dependent on. Physically dependent. And what I'm finding is that I am in a position in which alcohol substituted the dopamine chemical that would, flow through my brain. And for you folks that don't know what the dopamine chemical is, it's like the reward chemical. It's the chemical that is released that makes you feel gratified and satisfied for whatever it is that you did as an action in the real world. It makes you feel good, And what alcohol does is it substitutes the production of this dopamine and artificially produces it on its own. And when you're an alcoholic, I guess, I hate to say the word, but when you're drinking for 8 fucking years straight, you reprogram your brain into becoming physically and mentally dependent on using that alcohol to produce this dopamine. And on top of which, folks, this is not the only brain chemical that is affected with alcohol. Also, if you're a long-term alcohol user, you're also without your GABA, what is called GABA cell, I believe, which is something similar to dopamine, which obviously when you don't produce these chemicals, you go into a whole array of different mental perspectives and emotional whirlwinds because you are no longer, dependent on the alcohol to produce these things. You now have to be reliant on your body, and your body hasn't produced this shit, all right? And I'm telling you folks right now, man, do not, if you don't want to, look, if you just want to keep drinking and be an alcoholic for the rest of your life, I understand, believe me. But, man, the mental and physical withdrawal symptoms of going cold turkey, of alcohol, some of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my fucking life, okay? And look, I'm not going to drink this weekend. I'm not, because I figured, man, look, you're already 46 days, Ghost. All right, keep pushing it, for Christ's sake. Keep pushing it. The whole reason why my body's reacting the way it's reacting is because it's rejecting all these goddamn these toxins and, get it out of your body and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So with that being said, folks, as much as I am struggling through these withdrawal symptoms, I'm going to continue the sobriety road cold turkey. And, I'm just going to continue to just take on the bad shit. And let me tell you, once I hit day 40, it's gotten fucking horrible. It's like all of a sudden, I'm just getting hit like a ton of bricks with all kinds of shit. I got heart palpitations over here. I got fucking anxiety attacks. You know what I'm saying? I got fucking vertigo going on. I'm not even joking. I got vertigo going on over here. Jesus fucking Christ. Vertigo? I am in the level of withdrawal symptoms of alcohol of like a fucking bad alcoholic, and I'm ashamed of it. And I just want to tell each and every one of you, believe me, I know alcohol makes everything a good time. But just please be careful if you're going to make the decision to drink every single fucking day, even if it's just at night. You don't even need to be like somebody who wakes up in the morning, cracks one open, and starts drinking. Not even that kind of alcoholic. Even if you're just somebody who drinks at night and consumes a lot of alcohol, I'm telling you, the withdrawal symptoms of you trying to go cold turkey is fucked up. And I read that I should have never attempted what I've attempted here. That's why I'm thanking God, I'm thanking the Creator, and I'm knocking on wood once again that I haven't had a fucking seizure. But it's just been tough, and I wouldn't wish this on... Well, I'd wish this on my worst enemy, but still, I'm not my worst enemy. Why am I suffering? Why did I put myself through this? Why didn't anybody tell me when I was a young boy, when I saw my dad, drink those Wettas that we used to call... because you're right here in Texas, they call those Mexicans out there, they call the Miller High Life because it had the blonde broad, and it was, when you poured it in the glass, it had the little white head on it. They called it a Wetta. Wetta, and I think in Mexican that means like white girl or something. I saw my dad drink those all, his life, and, I'm going to be honest with you, when I saw my dad drink them, and he would come home, get drunk, pass out. He wouldn't get drunk to the point where he was acting like a belligerent idiot or something, but he would just kind of, come home, drink, crash, get up and go to work and do the same shit. It's, the ritual of life. And I would sneak out, some of these Wettas, these fucking Miller High Lifes, and I would drink these sons of bitches like when he was passed out, and they were the most grotesque, disgusting fucking things I've ever heard. I could not believe that my father was drinking this shit. And then lo and behold, folks, I started really massively, I wouldn't say massively drinking. I wasn't really a drinker in my life, per se. I started drinking like, going to parties, I guess, or going to social events where there was alcohol circulated in my latter teens and in my early 20 years. I was obviously in college. It doesn't matter what age of college you're in. Even in the 40s, they were partying their asses off whenever they were in college. But I never consumed alcohol in the context in which you guys have listened to me many, many times on this broadcast, like I did here the past 8 years. And all I'm saying is I'm not giving up alcohol forever. I will be back. I am not going to, go away from it. Obviously my insides need a little fucking, little repairing. And believe it or not, your body will repair itself, man. You just got to give it a little break. You got to give it some help. And lo and behold, man, everything will be going good for you, man. And if you are having a problem with alcohol, I don't even know what to tell you anymore, man. Because you know what made me stop was my insides, man. I had ulcers. I got acid reflux. I mean, it was horrible, unbelievably horrible. My bathroom trips looked like deer turds, man. It was horrible. I'm just being candid with you. I'm just being straight up. Man, now I'm like, fuck it, I go to the bathroom, I mean, it's like 2 feet long turds, for Christ's sake, man. I was like, good God. And now, after I go to the bathroom, it's like, there we go. Yeah, I feel great now. I feel like Al Bundy. Remember Al Bundy would come out of the fucking bathroom with a newspaper underneath his arm and like, yeah, there we go. Now let's sit back, watch TV, and consume some beer. That's how I feel. Anyway. Enough about me. I just wanted to be candid about, the things that I've been going through here recently and continuing on with the show. And amidst that, I mean, I'm a capitalist. Remember, I'm a self-made guy. All right, so I can't afford to kind of use this withdrawal alcohol situation as a means of me, I can't work and I can't produce money and I gotta stop what I'm doing and I gotta go to a rehab center. I don't have that luxury like these fucking celebrities out here, And as a man, I made a decision that, look, I've got to stop. The insides are telling me, all right, that I got to stop. I mean, I want to be around as long as I possibly can for Mrs. Ghost and, my extended family, my kids, etc. And, you just gotta take a sacrifice, man. I'll be back, all right? I will be drinking again, all right? Believe me, I will be drinking again. Anyway, with that being said, before I get to the damn cryptocurrency and the stock market, I want to talk a little bit about, since I made this diatribe about, and this soliloquy about alcoholism, I want to talk about this situation that's happening here in Colorado. Did you hear about this guy? His name is Chris Watts, okay, out of Colorado. He's accused of killing his wife, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and his 2 daughters. Now, what makes this even more macabre and grotesque is that this son of a bitch actually not only killed him, but pretended as if they were missing. Went out on television and local news affiliates trying to plead for their return like some sick fucking maniac. I'm not even kidding, okay? If you have not heard about this story, I would strongly advise you to read it, or, however you're going to be informed about it, search for it on the internet. This is out of Colorado, okay? Chris Watts. Now, no one can culminate what the motive is on this murder, and this is a gruesome murder. I mean, you're killing your wife, who's 15 weeks pregnant, and your 2 daughters? Now, speculations within the media have speculated that it has been because of financial reasons. But look, I don't give a shit what kind of financial reasons that you have. Financial reasons are not going to make you kill your wife and your unborn kid and your 2 daughters. I'm not going to claim that I know the motive of this sick maniac. But the reason I bring this case up is because the same reason I brought up this Richard Bebo Russell suicide that we heard here recently, the guy that went up, stole a plane out of Seattle Tacoma International Airport, the Q400. On one of our shows, we heard the correspondence between him and ground control, or air traffic control, excuse me. And it was just bizarre. It was one of the most bizarre suicides I'd ever seen. We discussed it intently. I don't want to go over what I feel about that particular suicide, but I think it's very bizarre. Typically, and I suggested this the last time, when people commit suicide, they're coming from a very dark place, a very negative place. I mean, never do you hear the type of, oh my God, I don't even know what to call it. I mean, it was just, it seemed as if he wasn't himself, and that's what many of Richard Russell's families or his family members have suggested, that it wasn't him per se. They don't know who that is, etc. So regardless, I'm not speculating anything. I am just trying to highlight the fact that what kind of crazy are we going into as far as a Western civilization is concerned? I mean, typically when people want to commit suicide, there is some level of modus operandi. Okay, there's some level of reasoning, even if it's sick, even if it's dumb, even if it's, I mean, hell, in the Yehudis instance, even if it's fundamentally, through religious fundamentalism, I should say, through religious fundamentalism, there's still some level of understanding of the modus operandi of that person. Now, there was no modus operandi with Richard Bebo Russell. I mean, he was he was a decent kid from all accounts. He had a wife. He had a family that cared about him. He had a decent job. He owned a bakery with his wife, sold the bakery, moved closer to the family. I mean, it was just bizarre. Now you have this case in which this man out of Colorado, Christopher Watt, is out here killing not only his wife, who is 15 weeks pregnant, but his 2 daughters. And then had the audacity and the fucking balls, the sick, disgusting, psychopathic balls, to go on to the local media outlets and plead for their return, man. I mean, what level of crazy are we going to in this country? And what can we attribute to this? I mean, what is the reasoning behind all this craziness that we're seeing on a habitual basis amongst people that on face value are just turning, they look normal, right? I mean, they look like they should be having a decent life. What is it? What kind of crazy are we turning into? And what's the cause of this? I mean, I've always suggested that it was the psychotropic drugs that have been distributed by the psychological industry. But, I mean, that can't be the whole factor. I think that's a contributing factor, but I don't think that's the whole factor, folks. I mean, is it what they're throwing in the air out here? I mean, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist by any means, folks, but we all do know that our brain wavelengths can be interpreted and intercepted. I mean, just a very basic concept of how your brain waves can be somewhat picked up and monitored. Do y'all remember that one Star Wars? It was a little toy. Remember that little Star Wars toy? In which you put a contraption on your head, and then you, through your own mind, through your own thoughts, can control a ball that's on a contraption, and you can control whether that ball goes up or down just by merely thinking about it. And that's just a very primitive example of how your brain waves can be read. Now, just based on that, I mean, what does that say about the potential of massively messing with the population through waves, through frequencies, etc.? I mean, for all those that don't know, there's been many people that have been on top of this subject called psychotronic weapons. One person I would like for you guys to listen to, who was a scholar in the 80s, in the late 70s, 80s, that was very well known and investigated in an intellectual capacity, subject matters that people would either consider taboo, conspiracy, whatever. But this man was a scholar, and he presented it in a way where you couldn't deny the facts that he produced. You couldn't deny it. I'm talking about none other than Anthony Sutton. Anthony Sutton. This man right here eloquently described what he has researched as fact. And this was in the 70s and the 80s of psychotronic weapons. And listen to one of his lectures in which he had told the audience that, look, we've got the ability to be able to make this whole room of audience that's listening to me to get angry or to get upset or to feel anxious. I mean, this is all frequency. This is all real. And I know there's going to be a lot of you folks that are like, oh, Ghost, come on, dude. That's why I'm giving you references to look up. Anthony Sutton, very good scholar on this subject and other subjects as well. So you can go ahead and take a look at him. But, I mean, the reason I'm bringing up psychotronic weapons is because what's going on with Western civilization and the type of crazy that we're seeing, this is unprecedented crazy. Unprecedented crazy. I mean, typically, that's why you have, like, FBI profilers. That's why you have criminal forensics. Because there are people that can find the modus operandi of someone's crimes or someone's grotesque actions or one's suicide in this case. But we just can't. I mean, you know, they can't figure it out with Richard Bebo Russell. And they can't even figure out with this guy, Christopher Watts, who killed his 15-week pregnant wife with his 2 daughters and then went out on TV and pleaded for their return. Unfucking believable. What have we become and where are we going? I like to always ask that question. I mean, as a matter of fact, I strongly advise you guys listening in, if you ever see something ridiculously crazy like this, and you're around a crowd of people, you should just look at them all and say, what have we become, and where are we going? And I guarantee you not one of them is going to be able to answer you a fucking straight answer. I mean, because no one knows, man. Oh, God, man. Anyway, look, let's move on. All right, I'm sorry about that, folks. Let me just, didn't we go off on the soliloquy about me, alcohol withdrawals, blah, 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 and then, of course, this psychopath out of Colorado who killed his family. But, you know, once again, these things need to be said, and I hope that you gathered something from them on this Baller Friday. Now, before we get to the goddamn crypto markets, let me go ahead and say cheers to each and every one of you that are kicking back on a Baller Friday. And for you folks that are new with us on the True Capitalist Radio Show, Baller Friday is that day of the week that us capitalists look back on our week's wages, our week's labor, our week's blood, sweat, and tears, and we bask. We bask in our success. We bask in our success with our favorite vice, because we all need vices. You know, the only bad part about vices is that you can't have too much of them. You know? Mrs. Ghost's daddy used to say, too much of anything is bad for you, you know? And I think that's a very decent, you know, very simple, wise tale. So with that being said, whatever you're consuming as your vice today on this Baller Friday, whether it's an alcoholic beverage, whether it's a slice of pizza, whether it's a nice cupcake, a whole pie in one fork, it doesn't matter. I want to say cheers to you all that are capitalists and that are working your asses off and are making an honest living and that are making America a productive country again. Cheers, man. Now, let me tell each and every one of you now that we're talking about crypto that I told each and every one of you assholes so, okay? I told each and every one of you jerk-offs so. I know that there was people in the True Capitalist Radio chat room and out there in the listening community that listens to this broadcast that were questioning, Ghost, what's going on with the crypto market? I mean, oh my God, there's a lot of money being lost, and is it going to crash? I mean, is it a scam? I mean, I don't know what's going on. Shut up! What have I always told each and every one of you, okay? What have I told each and every goddamn one of your asses? I said that watch the U.S. currency index, you fucking idiots. Excuse my French, but I've been beating this to everybody who's been listening during this segment like a dead horse. I said watch the U.S. dollar currency index, and that will explain why we are seeing the increase in the damn markets in crypto that we're seeing. Now, what have I always said about the U.S. dollar? That it is directly correlated with crypto. And we've been seeing a gradual increase in the dollar since late April. And it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped until today. And today, folks, actually yesterday and today, if you take a look, the damn U.S. dollar currency index is down over 1%. And if you take a look at the chart on the U.S. dollar currency index, you're going to see what looks like a nice steep hill downwards for the U.S. dollar. And if you take a look at that, and you take them cryptocurrency markets right now, hello! I've been saying this! You know that the cryptocurrency, quote, mainstream media is just barely catching on to this shit. I literally read an article in the cryptocurrency news, I forgot what publication it was, saying, you know what, I think that the cryptocurrencies actually coincide with the U.S. dollar. Well, no crap! Anyway, let's take a look at the market capitalization of cryptocurrency right now, folks. The market capitalization right now, and remember, we were at $190 billion about last Friday, right? Even extended into Monday, this past Monday, $190 billion. Take a look at the goddamn market capitalization right now. $223 billion market capitalization. And everybody out there that was worried, oh my God, Ghost, is it going to be a fucking crash? I mean, is crypto a scam? Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. All right? Long-term investment reigns supreme. That's another thing that I've always said on this broadcast, didn't I? Long-term investment reigns supreme. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. And what have I said about Bitcoin, folks? We're going to see a gradual rise in this son of a bitch. Now, I hate to keep reiterating this, but obviously this is a very important part of the market. This ETF, this Bitcoin ETF is very integral. Now, the decision on whether or not it was going to go into the regular markets of Wall Street was supposed to be made this month, and it was tabled to September 30th. Now, that's what everybody's waiting on right now. And as you can see, I've been highlighting this. You got to be aware of what the business media is trying to put in your faces. I have read countless analysts, these so-called experts. I don't know where the fuck they're getting these experts, but Bitcoin 25,000 at the end of the year. Bitcoin 80,000 at the end of the year. I don't know where they're getting this, but you could find them. There's analysts actually saying this for 2018. Now, what that says to me, folks, is that we're going to see some kind of increase. Remember, the business media, I'm talking about the CNBCs, I'm talking the Fox businesses, the Bloombergs. These people are integrated with Wall Street. They're like hand in hand, all right? You know that the business media evolved with the business community? If you take a look at, there's a documentary, I forgot what it was, but it goes into the interviews of some of the original Wall Street Journal journalists. And even they admitted that most of the stories that they wrote, they didn't even know what the hell they were talking about. And the only thing they would do is just hear these businessmen give them the insight on what the hell they were doing, and then they were just relaying it to the people. I'm not even joking. I saw this on a documentary, the original Wall Street Journal journalists admitting that they didn't know what the hell they were doing when they first started out there. It's because nobody knows. All right? You got to be an unbelievable expert in finance and capitalism to know everything about capitalism in business. All right? I'm not even kidding around, folks. There's unlimited amounts of opportunity for capitalism. You could be creative with capitalism and finance. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but once again, the business media hype, the ETF, and then you got a lot of money coming towards cryptocurrency as it is. So I'm going to start and I've been saying that we are going to see a run on Bitcoin. My price is at $15,000. But if by some chance we do hit the $20,000 mark this end of the year or during the holidays, if we do, I think the sky's the limit. I think that you're going to see so much speculation because everybody's bags are already paid for after about $20,000 on Bitcoin, that you could see speculators pushing this son of a bitch up to about $30,000 or $40,000. I'm not even kidding. On pure speculation. That's it. Pure speculation. But we shall see what happens. I definitely do think there's going to be a rise by the end of the year on Bitcoin. So just mark my words on that. Bitcoin, BTC, current market capitalization for Bitcoin is $113 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Bitcoin is 17.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone up, and everything is up right now. It is green as grass, baby. It is up 4.13% on the day. Current price for Bitcoin is $6,595.42 per Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and get to Ethereum. ETH, all right, current market capitalization is $32 billion market cap. The circulating supply is 101 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, it has gone up 9.61%. Current price for Ethereum, $316.80 per Ethereum. Now, we got a long way to go on Ethereum. It was going so bad in the contraction, folks, that you actually had people in the market speculating if this was the end of Ethereum. Now, there's a lot of reasons people are saying that. Ethereum, in my opinion, is too centralized. You got too many goofs in charge of too many things in Ethereum. And not to mention, there's a bunch of bugs in the smart contract. I'm not even kidding. I think a couple of weeks ago, Binance had to suspend Ethereum trading because of some problem within the smart contract solidity environment. So I don't know the technicalities of it, folks, but this is why people were speculating. I have no idea what the hell Ethereum's going to do. As you can see, folks, most of the talk is on its counterpart, Ethereum Classic. Now, what's the difference between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum? Well, Ethereum Classic doesn't have these centralized figures like Vitalik, that little fruit bowl that you always see going around talking about cryptocurrency because he's helped develop Ethereum and his little fruit bowls that developed Ethereum. No, it's a little less centralized. As a matter of fact, it's a communal type situation in Ethereum. So that's why you're starting to see a lot of attention go towards Ethereum Classic's way, because it basically has the same thing as Ethereum, from what I understand, with the exception of the centralization of people and bigwigs and assholes that think that they're going to be the digital Federal Reserve up top. So let's go ahead and get to Ethereum Classic since I've already brought it up. Let's go ahead and get to it. ETC is the symbol for Ethereum Classic. And lest we forget, it was just put on Coinbase's mainnet, so we got a lot of hype on this one, to say the least. Ethereum Classic's market capitalization right now is $1.5 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Ethereum Classic is 103 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum Classic has gone up 6.36%. Current price for Ethereum Classic, $14.45 per Ethereum Classic. Let's go ahead and get to Bitcoin Cash, folks. What have I told you about Bitcoin Cash? It likes to run. I think that we're at very, very big lows here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. BCH, current market capitalization is $10 billion market cap. $10 billion market cap for BCH. The current circulating supply is 17.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has gone up 14.98%. Current price for Bitcoin Cash is $598.73 per Bitcoin Cash. Let's go ahead and get to Litecoin. LTC is the symbol. Market capitalization for Litecoin is $3.5 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Litecoin is 57 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone up 11.03% increase on the day. Good God. Current price for Litecoin, that's why I keep telling you, keep your eye on Litecoin, man. Remember, we got people holding the bag on Litecoin up to about 300 and change, so just letting you know, very nice and low prices in Litecoin. I even said that during this massive contraction here, but still good prices in my opinion. Litecoin, current price, $61.47 per Litecoin. Now, let me get to Monero first, and then Monero and Dash, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about another coin that I have in the past criticized, but I do want people to monitor, all right? Now, let's get to Monero, okay? XMR is the symbol. Current market capitalization for Monero is $1.6 billion market cap. The circulating supply for Monero is 16.3 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone up 8.96%. Current price for Monero, folks, is $99.34 per Monero. And like I said, Monero likes to run. It's a short-term pattern trading play. I don't like it for the long term. That's just my opinion. Okay, let's go to Dash. DASH is the symbol. I like Dash, low circulation. It's one of the original OGs of the blockchain, formerly known as Dark Coin. Let's go ahead and take a look at Dash. Market capitalization is $1.3 billion market cap. The circulating supply is 8.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Dash has gone up 9.90%. Good God. Current price for Dash is $166.96. Lest we forget that Dash, we got people holding the bags at over $1,200. I think $1,300 on Dash. So keep an eye on Dash, folks. Let's go ahead and get one more. Let's get to Zcash. ZEC is the symbol. You know I like Zcash. A lot of reasons why. Privacy component, JP Morgan investment, low circulation. It just updated its blockchain on a hard fork, etc. Let's go ahead and get to Zcash. Current market cap, $708 million market capitalization. The circulating supply is 4.5 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, we have seen Zcash go up 10.01%. Current price for Zcash, $154.05 per Zcash. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this cryptocurrency that always stays in and around the range of $1. Now, for you folks that are unaware of this, depending on what exchange that you trade on, you're typically, in some of these bigger exchanges, going to have the opportunity to be able to trade Tether. Now, Tether is, the symbol on it is USDT. I've never been a fan of Tether because I've always personally believed it was kind of a ripoff. But now that you're starting to see general acceptance of Tether within many exchanges, I'm going to not cover Tether as a means of an investment. I think that people need to pay attention to Tether for predicting either contractions or major increases in the market. Now, what some people, or actually one person in the inner circle highlighted, was that when Tether tends to contract, you start seeing people actually go right back into the cryptocurrency market. And then when you start seeing Tether start to go up slowly, that's when a potential contraction is happening. And we're starting to see this pattern so habitually that you can literally tell the contractions from the actual spikes in the entire cryptocurrency market on Tether alone. Now, if you're not familiar with Tether, folks, it's like a safe haven where people trade into. It doesn't go up or down, and if it does, I think it goes up maybe a 1% or 2% at best, or goes down 1% or 2% at best. But for the most part, it stays at $1. So it's a safe haven to just keep whatever profits or liquidity that you had holding in crypto. It's a safe haven to put it in there, hold it until markets start coming back up and you can trade the Tether for whatever cryptocurrency you want to continue to gain liquidity on or profits on, etc. Now, I'm not going to cover this crypto because, like I said, it's a safe haven, but monitor it, all right? Monitor it because it is a tail sign. It is an indicator on whether or not we're going to see increases in the market or decreases in the market. And you can see that in real time, believe it or not. So just a little FYI for all you folks that listen to me and that are out there, that are investing, that are trying to get the edge on the market. That's a little bit of insight on top of what I had suggested, that the cryptocurrency market goes up and down with the fluctuation of the U.S. dollar. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to my favorite cryptocurrency. Actually, it's my biggest holding. I'm talking about Quantum, folks. QTUM is the symbol. Now, especially all you pricks that were out there saying, hey, Ghost, Quantum is going down like $3.60. How are you going to lose all your money? Are you kidding me? I was gobbling the shit up at those fucking prices. What you should have been doing. I mean, didn't I tell you guys on Monday, or was it Friday? Either one, Monday or Friday, I told you that if you have never invested in the market because you think that the wave of volume of profit passed you by, I said now is the time. Didn't I say that? I said now is the time to invest in cryptocurrency. And if you would have invested at that point, if you would have listened to old Ghost over here, you'd be up majorly on your money, for Christ's sake, man. I mean, come on. Especially Quantum. If you would have bought Quantum at $3.60 and you bought like 1,000 of these sons of bitches, you'd be heel kicking right now, all right? Let me go ahead and take a look at Quantum. QTUM market capitalization right now for Quantum is $442 million market cap. The circulating supply is 88 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Quantum has gone up 12.59% increase. Current price for Quantum, symbol QTUM, $5 and going up. All right, $5 and going up. And by the way, I am ending the 35 Quantum for the entrance into the inner circle tonight. That's it. All right, at midnight tonight. After that, we're not accepting any more inner circle members. We had about 5 folks come into the inner circle. I want to thank you folks. First of all, you got in at a steal. And secondly, it's time to shine, baby. We want serious people. We don't want these fucking cartoon fetish, pornographic, sicko, pervert, autist ass cracks. We want people that are going to make themselves better. We want you to join the inner circle today, and a year later from today, we want you to be a better person. We want you to be financially, fiscally responsible, making money moves, all right, gaining assets, all right, and if you're working, moving up in your job, or getting a job in your field that pays you more money. I mean, folks, this is what we do in the inner circle, man. It's about making capitalists. It's about exchanging ideas. It's about making networking and all this stuff, man. I don't want to go into the things that we do, but we ain't trolling now. We making money moves. That's all I got to say. All right. Now, one more crypto before I move on, and I want to talk about the infamous 42 coin, folks. Once again, 42 coin. I like it because first and foremost, me and the inner circle, that's like our coin, baby. We're trying to own it. We're trying to control it. Anyway, 42 coin, current market capitalization is 809,000. Obviously, the fucking circulating supply is 42 coins. That's it. No more, no less. In the past 24 hours, 42 coin has gone up 2.84%. Current price for 42 coin is $19,264.88. All right? Now, just watch. Once the market capitalization of the entire crypto market starts coming back in with those billions, just watch what happens. And not to mention, just give this some time. I'm telling you, just 42 coin is on its way up. Anyway, folks, that's it for the cryptocurrency market. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about stocks. All right, now, stocks were up today, folks, and the reason is because China, that's right, has capitulated and is wanting to talk to America to stop the tariff war that we have been kind of going tit for tat for at this point in time. So next week they are sending a delegation to help kind of alleviate or potentially end the trade war. So we'll see if the Chinese are genuine. We'll see what's going on with the Chinese. But that news alone had Wall Street guys optimistic and obviously buying into the market today. Not to mention, folks, you're having earnings looking great on a lot of different companies. One company I wanted to talk about, and I'm not saying that this is a good investment. I'm just talking about this because it's an indicator that the economy is really bullish. Just as I prognosticated back when Trump was elected president. Now, Nordstrom's, folks, if you're not familiar with the brand Nordstrom's, it is a very, very high-end retail market. It is a high-end retailer. I mean, you know, this is the kind of place where you're going to drop at least $300 for a belt. Okay, this is for really, really, really rich folks. It is such a rich store, Nordstrom's, that they actually have an indoor bar as a part of the shopping experience. Very, very high end. Well, the reason I bring this up, folks, is because they had better than expected earnings for the second quarter. And if you want my opinion, that's an indicator of very, very rosy futures for the next couple of quarters, especially when it comes Christmas time. And it's signification, folks, that we are definitely living in Trump's America. I said when Trump was elected president that this was a capitalist revolution, baby, and it's exactly what it's turned out to be. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stock market here and why. Well, let's take a look at how much anticipation that these folks have for major earnings for the next couple of quarters. Let's go ahead and get to Dow Jones Industrial. It is up 110.59 points, a percentage increase of 0.43%, closing out the Dow at 25,669.32 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. The S&P is up 9.44 points, a percentage increase of 0.33%, closing out the S&P at 2,850.13 points for the S&P 500. We've got the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is up also 9.81 points, a percentage increase of 0.13%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,816.33 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some commodities here. Now, we should see some increase in commodities because why? The dollar is down. Y'all get this, boys and girls? I'm telling you, I'm giving you guys millions upon millions of dollars of information. And the reason I say it's millions of dollars of information, the things I'm teaching you folks is what people go and pay people for on a daily basis. You know, all these financial advisors, this is what they're advising them. This is they're knowing what I'm telling you. So I'm just saying. I mean, I hope that you folks that are listening are actually taking this and applying this to your lives so you can be a badass capitalist out here. Live lavish, baby, live it lavish. All right, let's go ahead and get to energy, all right? WTI sweet crude is up 45 cents, a percentage increase of 0.69%, closing out WTI at $65.91 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. We've got Brent crude up 40 cents, a percentage increase of 0.56%, closing out Brent crude at $71.83 per barrel of Brent crude oil. We've got gasoline down, folks, 0.33% decrease. Natural gas is up 1.31% increase. Heating oil is also up 0.09% increase. Let's get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals. We've got gold, folks. It's up 20 cents, a percentage increase of 0.02%. Closing out gold at $1,184.20 per troy ounce of gold. And like I said, let's keep that gold price going lower, lower, and lower, okay, shall we? Let's go ahead and get to silver. Silver is down, miraculously. It is down 8 cents, a percentage decrease of 0.56%. Closing out silver at $14.63 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper up 0.48%, and platinum is up 1.17%. Let's go ahead and get to agriculture, folks. Corn, it's down 0.26%. Wheat, good God, it is up 3.16%. We've got oats up 1.33%. Rough rice is down 1.05%. Soybean is down 0.47%. Soybean oil is up 0.28%. And canola is up 0.10%. Let's go ahead and get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa is down 0.42%. Coffee is also down 0.62%, you fucking hipster bastards. We've got sugar. Sugar is down 0.17%. Orange juice is up 1.12%. Cotton is down 0.50%. Lumber, good God, it is up 3.28% on the day. Good God. We've got rubber down 0.06%. Ethanol is down 0.44%. And good God, take a look at the livestock, folks. You better be stacking up on some cheap beef and definitely some cheap hog, baby. Let's take a look. Live cattle is up 1.46% on the day. Cattle feeder is up 1.08%, baby. And lean hog, baby. Lean hog is up 5.63% increase on the day. Good God! And that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, all right? Anyway, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. And we are 3 minutes in to the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I want to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, then you are listening to the political underground of the internet. I guarantee it, boy. I mean, we were getting banned before Alex Jones was even considering it in its fat head. And by the way, we're going to talk about Alex Jones later on, all right? We're going to talk about that piece of crap. But before we get into all that, I would ask people to please spread this show around like wildfire, because the whole reason why anybody knows this show, folks, is because it's pure organic viral spreading, all right? So go ahead and go to the forum posts, go to the chat rooms, go to the blogs, go everywhere across the internet and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Type it in your browsers and add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites. Ghost.report. All right, it's as simple as that. That's all you got to type in your browser. All right, add it to your bookmarks, add it to your favorites, ghost.report. All right, it's as simple as that, baby. I'm just trying to let everybody know that we independent, and, you know, we ain't going to get muscled around by a bunch of jerk-off, little fruit boy, soy boy, little pos-holes that are out here thinking they're badasses because they're running some piece of garbage social media. You know, the selfie generation social media. Oh, I want to be popular. I want to do this and Jesus Christ. And you know what? Before I go on any further, folks, I want to remind everybody, since everybody is interested in crypto once again, and the prices are fucking low right now, okay? And this is why I'm promoting this, because the prices are low. Genesis-mining.com has got mining contracts available once again. They have them for Bitcoin. They have them for Dash. They have them for Ethereum, folks. And anywhere from 5 years to the Bitcoin contracts to 2 years to the Dash and Ethereum contracts. And let me tell you, I am a happy customer of my purchase that I made April of 2017. I am still getting paid. I'm still getting paid Ethereum and Zcash to this day for my 2-year contract, and it ends this next April. And I don't mean, I think I've quadrupled or quintupled my money at this point. I'm not even kidding around. So take a look at my Gab right now, folks, all right? Take a look at my Gab. And if you're not, it is genesis-mining.com, okay? And take a look at the pricing, and, you know, I would strongly advise people to entertain a mining contract, because everyone in the inner circle bought one, and they have been generously rewarded ever since. This is a reputable company. We've all purchased many mining contracts. So once again, we are back, genesis-mining.com, and make sure to put the discount code in there. I mean, you got to have a discount code, baby. Make sure to put discount code WEA296. Once again, WEA296. I'm telling you, they're back up. I just wanted to let everybody know that, man. They're just back up and running. Back up and running. And I'm a satisfied customer, and so is everybody who purchased one in the inner circle, all right, and in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. Now, I want to say cheers to everybody once again. It's a Baller Friday. A lot of things to talk about today. Let me go ahead and take a sip of my little, I wish it was beer, but it's tea. And I also want to remind everybody, we do got merch, okay? We do got True Capitalist Radio merch. We've got Ghost.Report merch, man. It's of yours truly's avatar with Trump's hair, baby. I love it. That's my favorite shirt. If you haven't seen it, type in your browser right now. It's as easy as typing this in your browser. Ghost.Market. That's it. That's all you got to type in. Ghost.Market. That's it. Ghost.Market. Take a look at it. Anything that you purchase there supports the show, and not to mention, you'll be sporting some pretty good apparel and some pretty good garb, if I don't say so myself. Now that we got that all out of the way, folks, let's get right into the nitty-gritty, because we got a lot to talk about on a Baller Friday here, okay? Now, I want to talk a little bit about the president, because the president all he gets is negative press from when it comes to the mainstream media. I think I read a report that 95% of the coverage of the president is negative or some shit. I mean, give me a freaking break, man. I have never seen so many people just deranged because one man was elected president. I just can't believe this. But a breath of fresh air, folks, okay? Rasmussen poll comes out and states the following, that approval rating amongst blacks, and I'm talking about Trump's approval rating, okay, amongst blacks, is at 36%. Oh! I mean, Trump is winning, man. And, you know, it's a breath of fresh air, because I was starting to believe that a lot of black folk, or the majority of black folk, were just kind of encompassing this ghetto-fied mentality that has been pushed by the rap industry, you know, this with my mind on my money and my money on my mind and pimping bitches and all this garbage, all right? I'm glad that there's black folks that are looking at the substance, at the actions of Donald Trump and are understanding that, man, this guy giving us jobs and shit, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my Cadillac worked on, baby. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm being facetious, of course, but 36% of blacks approve of Trump. And this should really be a concern for the Democrats, because typically I don't even think Republican candidates that run for president get even 10%. Most of them are in the single-digit percentile range when it comes to approval rating from black folk. Now, when it comes to Trump, folks, this time last year, Donald Trump, on this day last year, his approval ratings by black folk was at 19%. 19% approval rating by black folk this time last year. Today, 36%. And I'm glad that blacks are breaking through and starting to realize that Trump is not some racist. He's not some grand dragon. I mean, it's almost 2 years since he's been president. The country's great. Everybody's got money. America's respected. Black folks that have common sense are starting to realize that, man, what are these niggas talking about, man? So with that being said, folks, I mean, it's not just me saying it. I think it's black folks that have come out and that have not been intimidated by the groupthink mentality by liberals and black folks into submitting to assuming that, I got to go for the leftist candidate. I've got to go for the Democrat candidate. And I got to give props to these black folks that have went against the grain. Kanye West obviously is one major influential character within the black community that has probably made black folks think twice. And that's why you're having and seeing such positivity because of Kanye, Ben Carson, who's now the HUD Home Secretary, Stacey Dash. You've got that woman Candace Brown who's out there throwing it down. Speaking of somebody who's throwing it down, Jim Brown, folks. Now, if y'all are not aware of Jim Brown was one of the, if not the first, black running back to be put into the NFL. And he has been a black activist ever since the days of his NFL days. I mean, a major black activist all his life. And not only did he talk to Trump and support Trump, but he also said recently that these NFL players that are kneeling when it comes to the national anthem should not be kneeling. That they need to be standing up and, showing respect to the national anthem. I mean, this is Jim Brown, man. This is a lifelong black activist telling other black folks this. And I'm glad. And this is, in my opinion, where you get a lot of this approval rating from the president. I think this is where it's coming from. And I got to thank these black folks that are coming out and that are going against the grain and are saying that I am not going to be bullied by you goddamn real racist liberals. Because let's be honest, folks, it's the liberals that are the most racist people on the face of the planet. I mean, can we just agree to this? I mean, just take a look at the names that they put for minorities, for Christ's sake. African American. I mean, isn't that kind of assuming heritage there? Isn't that, because not all blacks are African. I mean, believe it or not, folks, not all blacks are African in origin. I mean, some blacks could have American Indian mostly in their blood. Some blacks, or what we look at as black folk, could have Fiji Islander type of blood, could have Brazilian blood. I mean, Cuban blood, Dominican blood. I mean, I could go on and on, folks. This idea that we're just going to pigeonhole all dark skins into something called African American is such a pompous assumption that only a fucking liberal would come up with this crap. I mean, what the hell do they call Mexicans, huh? Hispanics. I mean, hey, Mexicans, it has the word panic in the fucking word. Hispanic? And if you break it down, his panic is what they call Mexicans. And that was introduced by none other than the liberals themselves. I mean, this is fucking racist, for Christ's sake, man. And yet, the Democrats have bamboozled all these minority groups into just going and voting right into their goddamn fucking policies and their garbage and their divide and conquer and all this garbage that the Democrats have pushed forth. And another thing that I think black people are starting to recognize, folks, is that the Democrats care more about illegal immigrants than they do about black folks. I mean, it's as simple as their actions. I mean, there are massive amounts of people getting shot. As a matter of fact, it's Friday night. There's probably going to be about 20 people shot tonight alone, maybe more, in Chicago. And most, if not 95% of those fucking people are going to be black. And do we have the liberals, do we have Democrats going out there en masse trying to stop the violence out there? Huh? Of course not. Do you have the Democrats going out and trying to help black folks as a whole? No. No, you're not. And they're starting to realize, and I'm talking to the black folk, that Democrats care more about illegal immigrants that come into this country illegally than they do about law-abiding black citizens. And I'm glad that we're seeing this reflected in the polls today. 36% black approval rating for Trump should have each and every one of you Democrats shaking in your fruit hole, pause hole pants. I'm telling you, man, Kanye West, Jim Brown, Stacey Dash, Candace Owen, and Diamond and Silk, baby. Props to Diamond and Silk. Even though many people may think Diamond and Silk are silly, believe it or not, they're reaching people. Diamond and Silk, they love America. I mean, like I have said, you know, where else can you have the opportunities to be able to run from the bottom, to be able to do something for yourself to get yourself out of an impoverished situation than in America? There is no other place that gives you the opportunity to take yourself out of poverty. There is no other place on this earth. Anyway, folks, let me move on here. I want to talk a little bit about this, the parade, you know, this military parade that was proposed by the president. Well, unfortunately, folks, it has been postponed until 2019. You know, I know, I'm really bummed out about it too, man. I wanted to see a military parade out there in Pennsylvania Avenue. I wanted to see the military might displayed right there in front of the White House, and to show the world that we're not the punks anymore in the international community. And I think the world understands that now. I am very much appreciative on how Donald Trump has ran foreign policy. I mean, he has ran foreign policy like I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it. But they claim that the reason they're having to postpone this military parade is because it's going to cost over $90 million, supposedly. I don't think that's the case, folks. If you want my opinion, I think that the reason that we're seeing a delay or a postponing of this military parade is because probably the amount of liberals that are George Soros paid, all right, or bussed in, that are going to converge in Washington, D.C. and potentially throw their stupid liberal soy boy bodies in front of the tanks, in front of the armaments, you know, in front of... I mean, I'm not even kidding. I think that's what's most concerning. I mean, there's already been circulated suggestion about this in many liberal circles. You know? In many liberal circles, oh, well, you know, we're going to go out there, we're going to lay down in front of the tanks. You know, we're going to lay down in front of the troops, and then what? You're going to have a confrontation with these soy boy idiots and the troops? So I think that's the real reason why, folks, we're not going to have this military parade, and I think it's sad. I think it's sad. I know they say cost is the issue, but I feel like it's the amount of George Soros-funded retards who are going to lay down in front of the tanks. And they're going to be like, no, you're going to have to go over my dead body. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to go over my dead body. You understand? And I doubt that we want that kind of a confrontation at all. I'm not even kidding. If I was the president, I sure as hell wouldn't. And you know how these people are. I mean, these people are fanatics out here, especially these dumb leftists. I mean, they are complete idiots. All right? I mean, don't get me wrong. People in the chat room are like, you know what? Let them. Let them. Let's see Tank Man 2018. It ain't going to be Tank Man. It's going to be Tank Person, right? Or whatever the fucking pronoun is. You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows anymore? Don't call me that. Call me two-spirited. Call me sexually androgynous. Call me non-binary. Okay? Call me pansexual. Shut up, you stupid pansexual Peter Puffer. Jesus Christ, you gender fluid fondling piece of crap. Shut up! But yeah, this is what we're going to have to accept. You know what I mean? We just have to accept that we have to take into consideration that there's a good portion of the United States that is completely liberal lunatics. Liberal. I mean, we're at a form of crazy on the left that I can't even imagine. That I can't even explain. I can't even articulate into words. But anyway, once again, the military parade that was proposed by the president is going to be postponed to 2019. And I think that's a major bummer, man. It's a major fucking bummer. But once again, we have to take into account these liberal idiots. And that's what they want. If we run them over on a tank, they're martyrs. And then you're going to have more people. You know, it's just liberal lunacy, man. I can't stand the left. I can't stand socialists. I can't stand communists. That's why, just like J. Edgar Hoover said in front of Congress back in the 60s, you got to eliminate communism like a fucking disease and cut it out. You know, and I am so for that, folks. I'm not even kidding. I mean, free helicopter rides for all communists and socialists. And I'm not just talking about that for a meme either. I mean, these people are a danger to society, and they go against the very fabric of life itself. Because in what form of life, any form, I'm talking animals, insects, fish, in what form of life do they act as a community, okay? Now, I know that you're going to say, well, what about an ant pile, Ghost? So you're comparing us to fucking ants, you moron? What about a beehive, Ghost? So you're comparing us to bees? I mean, folks, you have to understand, even if they do have a colony in a beehive or an ant pile, that is but a micro colony of what the world is. I mean, to compare a ant pile and a honeybee's nest, and to compare it to communism and socialism, is that of comparing a small country, or not even a small country, a small community, like a tribal community. Because this is where Marx believed the true essence of communism came from, right? Was the communal interaction between the natives amongst each other. When in actuality, what truly motivated natives was whether or not the native could hunt and bring home massive amounts of meat for the tribe, or somebody who could create tools to make it easier to produce things to eat. Because remember, that's the modus operandi when you're living in primitive tribal type of environments. It's how you're going to eat. And, you know, the easier you make it with tools, with, domesticating animals, with, planting crops and irrigation and all this stuff. I mean, this is what kind of creates the important people within a tribal community. So, in my personal opinion, if we take a look at the macro perspective of all life, There is no communal socialistic idea. Because to do so would be going against the very foundations of life itself. And as you observe, no matter what form of life that you see around you, it has to die or it has to kill and eat another living organism in order to survive. So just based on the rules of life and how simplistic I just put them to you, the idea of socialism or communism is not only arrogant, but it is unsustainable. Because as I've made many, many times this comparison, just imagine if the spider community decided that it was going to take care of all the spiders, and they had this like spider convention and said, look, we're going to hook up every spider out there. We're going to hook them up with webs. So if you see a spider without a web, you hook them up with your web, and you hook them up with your kill and all this crap. And if they agreed to this, folks, within a month, we would be so inundated with spiders, they'd be up to our waists. Because y'all ever seen a spider egg patch? You know, there's like thousands of spiders that are hatched. And that's just for one spider that, holds that big egg patch on their goddamn body. So if we were to have the spiders, and I know that's a silly comparison, but, I think it's silly that you communists believe that you want human beings to be a fucking, in an ant pile. That you want human beings the comparison of a beehive. So like I said, on a macro level, if the damn spider said, look, we're hooking up all spiders and we're making sure they're all fed, all housed, all clothed, we would be so inundated with spiders, they would consume everything around us. They would consume the grass. They'd be all over the place. They'd be overwhelming. And you see, you arrogant human beings that are, in this mindset that, socialism and communism, you morons believe that these systems are going to enable you to be nothing more than a fat piece of crap collecting a goddamn entitlement watching TV or on the internet. That's not how socialism and communism works. The only reason that you have the ability to sit on your fat ass and be on the internet and chomp on your fucking Pop-Tart all day is because you live in America, you stupid faggot. You wouldn't be able to pull this off in communism. In communism, you're told what to do. In socialism, you're told what to do. And if you refuse the job you're told, you're thrown in prison or you're killed. I'm tired of you idiots trying to equate socialism as this mass political romantic utopia. It's not. And I don't care how many of you idiots try to claim, well, that's not real socialism, Ghost, and that's not real communism, Ghost. You stupid morons. There's only one thing that makes communism and socialism, and that is the centralization of all power. I mean, that's what makes communism and socialism, morons. That's all it is, the centralization of power to the state. That's what it is. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You relinquish all your fucking self, your soul, your life, your decisions, your choices, your freedom to the state. And the state decides what they're going to feed you. The state decides what job you're going to have. The state decides what house you're going to have. And I guarantee you, folks, that you're not going to be happy with the type of digs the government is going to give you. You're not going to be happy with the type of food that the government is going to give you. And then what? Then what are you going to bitch about? Then what are you socialists and communists going to bitch about then? That, the communists and socialists aren't properly feeding us. Maybe they're not properly feeding you because they want you eliminated. Because that's what makes a proper society, right? I mean, if you're centrally doing everything power-wise, if you've centralized everything, the thing for the central power to do is to make sure that the best of the population are well-fed, they're well taken care of, they're progressing society at a rapid pace, and the riffraff, the garbage, the autists, the retards, the cripples. I mean, everybody is just put away. They're destroyed. They're eliminated. They're starved to death. They are of no need to the collective, you morons. And I hope that you get that through your fucking thick skulls. Because that's what you are asking for when you're asking for socialism and communism. Anyway, folks, let me move on to another subject matter. Let me get some freaking tea here. And I want to talk a little bit about Alex fucking Jones, okay? Let me go ahead and take a swig here. Now, I know I've been critical of Alex Jones, saying that I'm not really feeling sorry for him, that he got yanked off YouTube and yanked off social media. Hey, they did that to me 2 fucking years ago, and no one gave a fuck, okay? So, excuse the shit out of me if I don't care if Alex Jones is being taken off YouTube and is being deprived and demonetized the millions he made off YouTube producing all kinds of video content. And, you know, he's deprived all these social media outlets. I'm sorry, I don't care, okay? Now, I was starting to feel a little bit of compassion for him here recently when, I mean, they're going as far as to banning him on sites that he's not even on. I mean, they're banning him off LinkedIn. I mean, if this poor bastard, I mean, if they run his InfoWars operation into the ground, I mean, he's not even going to be able to put up a LinkedIn fucking resume to get himself some goddamn employment. But I'm going to be honest with you folks, okay? I've never really liked Alex Jones. Everybody knows it. He has ripped me off countless times. He has ripped me off countless times, you know? And yet again, he has ripped me the fuck off, okay? And this is the last straw for fucking Alex Jones. This son of a bitch is COINTELPRO, Operation Mockingbird, controlled opposition. That's what he is. Who the fuck's controlling him? I have no fucking idea. But I've always suggested that him and the Russians have been very close. He always seems to have Alexander Dugin on his fucking program, and Alexander Dugin is a goddamn fucking maniac. I mean, this guy, Alexander Dugin, wants nuclear war to eliminate all nation states, and somewhere along the way, these people are going to come out from the rocks that I guess are Duginites. They're going to come out from the rocks and implement, what is it, the third political, or the fourth political theory, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's ridiculous, okay? It's utterly ridiculous. But why am I calling out Alex Jones for not only ripping me off, but for being a fucking, you know, who the fuck knows agent? I don't know if he's controlled opposition from intelligence agencies in America, or if he's a Russian COINTELPRO, or I don't know. But I can tell you this. Do you all remember when I made the prognostication last Friday? Do y'all remember this? That I said that there will be some kind of terrorist act relating to journalists. Either a journalist or journalists. And they're going to blame it on QAnon. Do y'all remember me saying this? And I said that this was going to happen within 3 weeks. Well, guess who just ripped me off of that prognostication here yesterday? Guess who fucking ripped me off, okay? Alex fucking Jones, okay? And you know something? Not only did he rip me off saying that there is an imminent false flag event, because I suggested this, that was going to target journalists or journalists, okay? Not only is he crying and trying to so-called put out a red alert that there's going to be some kind of false flag relating to journalists, folks, unlike what I said last Friday, that I believe this is going to happen and it's going to be blamed on QAnon followers, folks, Alex Jones is trying to suggest that the false flag event that's impending, that's going to happen to a journalist or journalists, is going to be blamed on him. Oh, fucking give me a fucking break with this fucking guy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, is QAnon getting too much fucking attention from you, Alex, that you are trying to use the power of suggestion to not only rip me off in my prognostication of a terrorist act coming to a journalist or journalists, or a false flag coming to a journalist or journalist in the next 3 weeks and blaming it on QAnon? No, you're claiming that it's going to happen and it's going to be blamed on fucking you. Give me a break, Alex. You've got to be shitting me. I mean, folks, if this doesn't underscore that this guy is utter controlled opposition or a fucking sick, insane maniac, I don't know. You take your pick, all right? You take your fucking pick. This guy not only ripped off my prognostication of a potential some kind of false flag terrorist act coming to a journalist or journalist, but I said it was going to be blamed on QAnon. He's saying that it's going to be blamed on him. I mean, do you understand what this guy's trying to do? Now he's trying to induce this shit. And if you want my opinion, folks, that's what he's always been trying to do. That's what he's always been trying to do. He's been a hyper-sensationalist ever since he got on radio. He is a fucking fraud. He is a piece of crap. And I'm tired that everybody that is a right-wing celeb is coming to the defense of this piece of shit. Okay? Now, I'm going to prove to you all that Alex Jones is not only a fucking a fraud because he admitted in his case in the custody dispute with his ex-wife that he was a, quote, character, and that his lawyers even was quoted as saying in the transcript that, quote, no person with common sense would take Alex serious. I'm going to show you that Alex Jones has been COINTELPRO, Operation Mockingbird, controlled opposition, whatever, for a long, long time. Now, I don't know who's controlling him. I don't know who his handlers are. I don't know if it's somebody from this country or Russia. But we all know that he is buddy-buddy with Russia. He loves Putin. He has Alexander Dugin on. He has some office manager that's a Russian that speaks fluent Russian. I don't know what the fuck this is about. But either way, I want to show you right now how much of a bogus piece of trash Alex Jones is. And this is why they're banning him, folks. Because right now he's trying to call himself legitimate journalism. He's trying to call himself the leader of the alternative media when he is an utter fraud. And everybody needs to be demanding who the fuck this guy works for and who he works for now. Now, what I'm about to play to you here, folks, is the broadcast that Alex Jones conducted in the year 2000. I'm talking New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1999, going into the year 2000. And I want you to listen to what he is trying to do in this broadcast. He is trying to instigate chaos. He is trying to instigate looting. He's trying to instigate hysteria. And we all remember that Y2K was supposed to be this big impending doom. Remember back in the year 2000? The Y2K bug? If y'all don't remember it, look it up for yourself. Well, if you listen to Alex Jones in this year 2000 New Year's Eve episode, you're going to see that this son of a bitch is trying to induce hysteria. And he's been trying to do that, folks, ever since he's been doing this crap, if you want my opinion. Now, engineer, do you have it queued up here? Like, he's giving me the okay. Now, look, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Alex Jones, and I'm just going to play a couple of snippets, all right, of him on New Year's Eve 2000 trying to instigate chaos, trying to instigate disorder, riots, looting, trying to implement hysteria on a mass scale. And this was on New Year's Eve 2000. All right? So let's go ahead and cue that up so everybody can listen to why I believe that this guy is Operation Mockingbird, COINTELPRO, fucking controlled opposition, and he's trying to encourage, if you want my opinion, hysteria. Okay? Now let's go ahead and listen right now. Go ahead and turn it on, engineer.
Cash machines are failing in Britain and now other European countries. They're finding large amounts of explosives in France. Vladimir Putin, who is known as Vladimir the Ruthless, and using all his profanity on national TV, you name it. We won't read the profanity here, but we've got it. This person is on an unbelievable power trip and resembles a demon. He is a creature of the IMF and the World Bank and international communism. He is a former KGB head. And this information is vital, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing the New World Order really come out in full force. More wars than have been in the last 50 years are going on right now. The war in Chechnya is raging in Grozny with, well, reports of hundreds of thousands dying.
Is that true, folks? Are there more wars going on right now than in the last 50 years? Are there hundreds of thousands of people dying right now in Chechnya? Listen to this. This man is just making it up right out of his head as he goes along.
20 to 40,000 civilians trapped in the city. Russian Hinds are being shot down. Tanks are being blown to bits. Massive Grad unguided rocket attacks are being launched on the city indiscriminately right now. Air and artillery bombardments as well. It's absolutely out of control. It is pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you the news first on Y2K. The newest developments. A Pennsylvania nuclear plant has been shut down. One of the main systems transferring the power from it failed, but they say it's not a Y2K problem. And the things I'm experiencing here in Austin, Texas, the shelves are empty of water and some gas stations are running out of fuel. Here in Central Texas and in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the shortwave is basically down, ladies and gentlemen. Went off right as I went on the air. The big news on Y2K. Then we'll start going to your calls. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. All right, let's go ahead and get to this article. Associated Press. This came out at 7:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, December 31st, 1999. Pennsylvania nuclear plant shut down. One of the two nuclear reactors at PECO Energy Co.'s Limerick Generating Station has shut down this morning after a piece of equipment failed. Company spokesman Neil McDermott said the problem was not Y2K related. It was declared an unusual event, the least serious emergency classification of a nuclear power plant. They got to have a serious emergency to shut down a plant, ladies and gentlemen. You power one down, you're not going to power it up for at least days. It was declared an unusual event. At 2:55 a.m., shutdown occurred when an insulator on the main generator transformer from Limerick 2 failed. We had reports yesterday of this. Off the record, I would not report it, but I had it from a good source that this plant was having problem along with 4 other plants. I may just go ahead and report it here. Boy, do we get good information here. This has been going on for days. From our information, it is not this transformer that they're talking about. They wouldn't just shut a plant down over that. Something serious may be going on there.
This is
so that the
New Year's Eve 2000.
The federal government, the occupational government in Washington, D.C., has set up a huge $50 million command bunker hooked into all the steamer boxes that can take over all the shortwave broadcast and commercial AM and FM stations, as well as television broadcast stations, and we hope they do not activate that, ladies and gentlemen. Police and military are on high alert, running around looking for supposed boogeymen and terrorists under every rock. Military are highly visible now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are trains and military equipment moving into Austin. 2 nights ago, on Wednesday night, the Fox News reported that the airport will be used as a massive holding facility for troublemakers or rioters here in Austin.
Are y'all hearing
this
shit?
History of riots. They need to get that country locked down so they can stage the election for Vladimir Putin. I mean, this guy is a demon.
And he hated Putin. Listen.
Just how he's raging with power. I'm Alex Jones. I'm your host. I'm just one of the great hosts here on the GCN radio network, and I've been very passionate today because I can't even keep track of all the developing news as it's coming in. I'm not going to get into I'm not even going to say it's 6 to 7 reactors across the country.
Listen to this guy.
I'm not even going to. It's bad, and I got this news about the Pennsylvania plant early yesterday, got it again off air.
This guy
confirmed
is
it with someone that
trying
is
to cause
99%
hysteria.
accurate, about like I am, trying to report the truth, and now I've got the Associated Press saying, well, they shut the whole plant down, but they call it an unusual event, the least serious emergency classification of a nuclear power plant. Well, it's got to be pretty bad for them to power a plant down.
Time is getting shorter until Y2K. If you want to be sure your family and loved ones
listen
weather
to
the
his
potential
ads.
Y2K storm of delays...
Hey, turn it off. Listen to the advertisements of this guy. This guy's been, my filters, ever since fucking 1999, 2000. What you are listening to, folks, is him trying to cause mass hysteria in the 1999 going into 2000 New Year's Eve broadcast. And this is what he's been doing all along. I'm going to let it continue for a second, but listen to this guy. Does this guy sound like somebody that's some kind of sane person, for Christ's sake, man? I mean, this guy is just taking shit and throwing it on a wall and seeing what sticks, for Christ's sake. I mean, this is why I'm telling you, folks, this is a perfect guy to take down and say, look, we're going to have to ban this guy because of this, and this. And the reason is, folks, is because he's trying to pass himself off as legit news when it's obvious that he's not. He tells half-truths. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason that we had Donald Trump and Roger Stone use Alex Jones during the 2016 election was because there was no other outlet that had a decent amount of listeners or viewers that could be able to put out the message that Roger Stone and Donald Trump put out in that 2016 election. And lest we forget that the president, now President Trump, utilized Alex Jones to get notoriety for himself. Lest we forget that it was Hillary Clinton that named Alex Jones herself, which inevitably gave this, gave the president a lot of press. And when people heard Alex Jones, I don't know if y'all remember this, but back when in the 2016 campaign, he stopped. He put an end to all this conspiracy theorist bullshit. Remember that? He put an end to it. He was trying to be legitimate coverage. He was going out to the both conventions and, hi, I'm Alex Jones. We're going to talk a little bit about he was trying to be legitimate news, right? And you see, you can't do that when you have a history of doing this garbage. And, lest we forget, folks, the president hasn't said one word to Alex Jones. He hasn't had Alex Jones to the White House. He hasn't been seen public with Alex Jones. He hasn't taken a picture and shaken Alex Jones's hand. And Alex Jones is a little pissed off about this, okay? And I don't know if y'all remember the most recent Syrian airstrike that the president conducted, which I told everybody to calm their ass down about. Remember, there was two of them. The first one back right after he was inaugurated in 2017. And it was nothing more than a cosmetic strike of Iranian positions in Syria and a fucking planeless takeoff runway. And I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the most recent cosmetic strike that the president implemented on Syria, which once again hit nothing but not just Iranian targets, it also hit some Russian targets as well. But did y'all hear Alex Jones after that Syrian strike? You know what? Fuck Trump and fuck his family. I can't believe it. My filters. Fuck Trump. Fuck his family. I love Bashar al-Assad. Bashar al-Assad is a true patriot. Y'all remember that shit? And what? You don't think that the president is just going to, go ahead and allow him to say such things? Of course not. And if you want my personal opinion, folks, I think that Alex Jones's unfortunate demise has very little to do about the liberal censorship that he's claiming this is about. I think that the president and his administration himself is trying to shut this idiot up because they don't no longer want him affiliated or even pro-Trump. This guy is a complete agent for somebody, and nobody knows. And I'd like to know. Alex, if you're listening, ripping me off again, who the fuck do you work for, you piece of crap? You're either somebody in the black operation agencies in this country, or you're working for fucking Russia. And if you're not working for either of them, then you're an insane lunatic that needs to be fucking put in a goddamn straitjacket. All right, I'm going to play a couple more clips of this so y'all can hear the insanity of this son of a bitch. Play a minute more of this crap, engineer.
Or interruptions of services, then now is the time to stock up on emergency supplies and a home food reserve.
As the developments move forward with this Y2K and this gear up for clamping down in America and Russia and around the world by globalist forces, we'll be bringing you the news as long as we're here on the air. Now pretty much dictator and controller of Russia publicly, and here in America they're gearing up and bracing for terrorism and militarizing everything in front of us. So it's happening there, it's happening here. There they're using the war with Chechnya. Here they're using Y2K and the threat of terrorism. Oh, this is extremely serious.
Listen to this guy.
Topol M, 6,200-mile super range, multiple warhead, newest design, U.S.
fucking controlled opposition, this fat fuck.
Russia. They're mobile. These are first strike type systems. They're also designed to survive several strikes.
Yeah, exactly.
From America or any other nation. They're deploying these, and Yeltsin openly has been threatening us weekly to nuke us. I mean, it's just getting insane. And absolutely, this looks like just one more ratchet on the takeover of America. And yes, they have an extreme strongman in KGB leader running Russia right now. They have deployed their missiles against us and their submarines, and have already delivered fully functional missile cruisers to China. Yes, he took the codes off.
Listen
and
to this guy.
Took away our first strike capability. By first strike, that means...
Hold on, stop that right there. Did you hear him? Now he's pro-Putin. Can you, I mean, why don't you answer that one? I mean, how consistent this fucker is when it comes to, maintaining his perspective. But did you hear him? He's claiming that Russia hacked the first response codes. Did you hear this shit? I mean, this guy incepted Russian hackers in his shitty broadcast in New Year's Eve 1999 going into 2000. And now all of a sudden, he's all buddy-buddy with Russia. He loves Russians. He goes on RT all the time. What a piece of crap, man. I mean, y'all are hearing this hypocrisy. Folks, this is an actual broadcast. I'm bringing you snippets of it, because I'm telling you, this needs to be put out, and I'm tired of all these right-wing celebs throwing themselves on a sword for this idiot, when this guy is nothing more than, in my opinion, one of the biggest con jobs in media today. All right? Fucking Bill Hicks, Alex Jones, whoever the fuck you are. All right? One more time, let's hear a little bit more, and then I'm moving on to the next subject matter, for fuck's sake. Turn it on, engineer!
If missiles are in the air, let's say 4,000 of them. The Russians have got a lot more than that.
Right.
4,000 missiles coming in, subs launching, suitcases going off. We have to wait until we absorb the first strike that will mean virtual annihilation to our military. Brass, I know you're CFR. You've been told you'll be able to be in the bunker if they go to this level. I don't know if they'll do it. It may just be ratcheting down the global system. All I know is this: Boris Yeltsin, at 4 o'clock in the morning, as the Russian time zone in its eastern area near Japan was entering into Y2K, he resigned, and now Vladimir Putin, known as Vladimir the Ruthless by the Russian people, is now taken the reins of power, supreme power in Russia, and he is a former KGB
Listen to this guy.
There's something else I want to tell you, Alex.
Well,
listen
hold on
to this
just a
guy.
second. I mean, this is extremely serious. Again, I was getting this information, what you just said 2 days ago, and I got it even more. I ignored it then I got it yesterday.
Shut up, Alex.
And now it's in the Associated Press that in Pennsylvania, where you're calling from, in the city you're calling from, one of 2 nuclear reactors at PECO's Energy Co. Limerick Generating Station was shut down this morning after a piece of equipment failed. They're saying it's non-Y2K related.
All right, shut this fucking guy. Shut him up, man. you all get the point, right, folks? All right? You all get the point, and you all know why he's being targeted. It's not just these people that are supposedly left-wing social media sites. It's also, if you want my opinion, Trump's administration himself. Because lest we forget, folks, the FCC has now taken him off of the terrestrial airwaves, claiming that he has not paid his FCC license within the past 5 years. Now, what's interesting about this, folks, why don't you all try to, put up your own pirate radio station in your city and see if you don't have FCC coming down and basically knocking down your door, all right? I mean, they would not have allowed Alex Jones to do this, especially at the frequency levels that he was broadcasting at. So, I'm going to be completely honest. I think that Trump purposely is trying to shut Alex Jones up because, let's be honest, man, I mean, he's a two-timing, two-faced, unloyal piece of garbage weasel. All right? And it's always about Alex, right? It's always about him. Oh, God damn it. I'm out here, God. I'm out here, and I'm facing the New World Order. And I'm going to face you. I'm a man. I take Superman vitality, boy. And I'm a man. And I go out and I will defeat you. I mean, all this garbage, all right? I mean, it's crap, man. And prior to this 2016 campaign, in which he turned, somewhat legitimate political for a little while, do y'all remember his broadcast before? This guy would cover anything. This guy would cover reptilian lizard men. He would cover alien stuff. I mean, he would cover except for anything about Israel, which is very interesting. I don't know if there's any correlation with that, but except Israel. But anyway, I mean, this guy just threw whatever conspiracy garbage on a wall and would cover it, and it was just like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to have to accept this as legit. I mean, I'm so tired of Alex Jones. Go fuck yourself, man. Okay. All right, I do not feel sorry for you. You're a piece of garbage, all right? And I want to know whether or not you're either COINTELPRO, Operation Mockingbird, all right, controlled opposition, or you're just fucking insane. I mean, we have to know, Alex, all right? All right? I mean, Alex Jones is just pissed. He's pissed because he's not Sean Hannity close to Donald Trump. I don't know if y'all know. I mean, Sean Hannity and Trump are very close. That's what he thought Trump was going to do with him. And, you're a lunatic, Alex. You're an imbecile. I mean, give me a break. We all know that, you're doing this for money. And I'm not hating on you for doing anything for money, but I've always been critical of you selling fear. That's all you have sold. Instead of selling facts or giving out the actual information and the truth. I mean, that's what I try to do on a consistent basis on this fucking broadcast. So that you can enlighten the people that are listening to you instead of sitting here making them scared and shit. I'm tired of this, man. And all of you people that are falling on your swords for Alex Jones, you're looking like idiots. All right? This guy is a COINTELPRO idiot. He doesn't oblige by what he believes in. I just showed you. Okay? I just showed your ass the 2000, or I should say the New Year's Eve 1999-2000 broadcast of Alex Jones. And as a result, it shows you that this guy's a complete hypocrite. He's a complete hypocrite. He hates Putin coming in. Now all of a sudden he's Putin's buddy. He's on RT. He has Alexander Dugin. Of course, Alexander Dugin is known as, quote, Putin's brain. Give me a fucking break, man. You know what, Alex Jones? Go suck off a pansexual, all right? Go rub up on some goddamn eunuch's love mound, you fucking idiot, man. I'm so tired of hearing about you. I'm almost glad they took you off of all these social medias, man, because you make us all look like a bunch of morons. All right, and you got a $300 million operation in InfoWars, and instead of going out there and making your own operation within your own context, within your own website, within your own streaming, you got greedy. You got greedy and utilized the monetization of these Silicon Valley oligarchs, and now they know that how they test you, Alex, on whether or not you're legitimate about your political convictions is whether or not you're going to continue to act pro-Trump and act how you've been acting if the monetization is taken away from you. And if you want my opinion, I don't think that you're going to stay loyal, Alex. You haven't. You haven't thus far. So piss off. Anyway, folks, we are now in the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started on the third hour, I would like to remind everybody to please spread it around like wildfire. All right, let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world, let them know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. Ghost.report. All right, that's all you got to type into your browser. All right, Ghost.report. Add that to your bookmarks. Add that to your favorites, etc. Let's go ahead and say what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room in here. What's going on? And before I give some shout-outs in the True Capitalist Radio chat room, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all right, all you've got to do is go right now to my Gab account, all right? Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and give me a private message or a direct message on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will send you an invitation to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. All right? Or the True Capitalist Radio chat room, I should say. Anyway, who else do we have here? Let's go ahead and take a look at the True Capitalist Radio chat room. We've got Eagle Cock. We've got Tesla Cyberheart. What are you doing, man? TCR Mercenary, Stagio, Sparked, Poutier in the house, Norm McDonald, give me a break. We got Nat in the place, Metaform, Insane Energy. There's two Insane Energies in here. What the hell's that about? We've got Herb Master. We got Hans Uberlander. We've got Funky Butt Lovin'. We've got Capitalist America's Broken Battery. We got DP in the house. What's going on? Or BP, I should say. BP's in the house. We got Birds of Prey, Billy Cossack in the place. And I think that's about it. That's all we have left. That's who's chilling with us on this Baller Friday edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, all right? Anyway, let me go ahead and continue on, folks, because we got a lot of things to discuss here. Oh, yeah, and one more again, I'd like to remind everybody, folks, that this tonight, after midnight, is the last night you can join the Inner Circle at 35 Quantum, which I think is a fucking steal at this point, all right? We've already got about 5 new members. We're going to add some more members here before midnight, so this is it, all right? And this is to replenish these goddamn cartoon, waxing carrot, porno fetish freak shows that we want nothing to do with at this point in time. I want nothing to do with these people, all right? If you are over the age of 18 and you fetishize about a goddamn cartoon, you're a piece of shit, and I probably don't even want to talk to you, all right? Anyway, with that being said, this is the last evening to do that. So at midnight, we're no longer accepting Inner Circle members. So just letting y'all know. Anyway, folks, let's move on from Alex Jones. Let's talk about this New Mexico compound that they found in the middle of the New Mexico desert in Amula. I think that's how you pronounce this little desert area. Are y'all familiar with what happened here? August 3rd was when they raided this place. And it was a compound out of Amula, New Mexico. It had 11 hungry children found living in filth. And, it had, unfortunately, one child dead. Okay? Now, according to reports, this Sadaj ibn Wahaj and 4 other people were arrested at the compound. Now, this particular gentleman here, as a matter of fact, Sadaj ibn Wahaj is the son of a cleric that I posted here, seen with Linda Sarsour. Y'all are familiar with Linda Sarsour? She's that stupid broad in the hijab that marches with the Million Woman March and all this other crap. Well, here's this woman. Oh, let me go ahead and turn that down. Here's this woman here, Linda Sarsour, Miss Hijab Feminist, on the same stage as the father of this man that has been found in this New Mexico compound. He is the father of Sadaj ibn Wahaj. All right. Here is the senior Sadaj Wahaj and Linda Sarsour. Let me go ahead and repost that on my Gab account right now. Check out my Gab. Look at my Gab. And I posted this 9 days ago. I posted this and it says, man arrested at New Mexico child abusing compound. And parentheses, I said that they were training these kids to conduct school shootings and terrorism. Can you believe this? Is son of an imam with possible links to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Yep, that's exactly what I said, folks. The imam, which is the father of this person found in the New Mexico compound, is an imam that with connections to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Now, what is the connection? He was very close to the Blind Sheikh. The Blind Sheikh was the inspiration behind the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. Now, I know some people are saying, wait a minute, Ghost, don't you mean the 9/11 attack? No. They tried to bring down the World Trade Center before. And what they did is they used trucks. And they put these trucks with explosives, ammonium nitrate, and they threw them in the bottom levels below the World Trade Centers and attempted to blow it up. Okay? Now, when they blew it up, they thought that by blowing up this, truck at the lower base of the World Trade Center, that they would bring it down. And they didn't bring it down. It did a lot of damage in the lower levels of the World Trade Center, but it did not bring it down. Now, this Imam, Sadaj Wahaj, he is a very close Imam with the Blind Sheikh, who was the inspiration behind the 1993 attack. Now, how do we know this? Well, the culprits in the 1993 attack, one of them was found in Indonesia in a very bizarre incident. This guy by the name of Ramzi Youssef and another terrorist were in Indonesia attempting to create a bomb within their Indonesian apartment that we're renting out. And in the process of creating that bomb, the damn thing exploded inside the apartment. Now, you can't just wait around if you're a terrorist after you explode a bomb in your apartment and wait for, the fire department and all that. You had to leave. And as a matter of fact, one of the people actually died, because they were in front of the blast itself, etc. So Ramzi Youssef was able to escape because he was one of the people helping to build the bomb in Indonesia. And when the Indonesian authorities went into this apartment, they found massive amounts of evidence that they gave the United States, in which they proved through the evidence that were found on laptops, that were found in documents, that Ramzi Youssef was the culprit of the 93 World Trade Center bombings, and he was inspired by the blind sheikh. So I didn't mean to get off on that soliloquy about that. I just want to let everybody know that, yeah, the 1993 World Trade Center bombings actually happened. Just wanted to know how. I wanted you all to know how and why. Now, with that being said, folks, okay, the feds find this New Mexico compound. There's 11 hungry children living in filth. They're being trained to commit school shootings and all kinds of weird terrorism. All right, they've got this one guy who is the son of this imam and 4 other people controlling the compound. Now, what has happened? Now, this is why I bring this whole case up. The judge, all right, that is presiding over this case said that the prosecution had evidence that was, quote, troubling and unusual, but failed to show the defendants, which were these people that were caught at this compound, but failed to show the defendants abused the children or were treated or were a threat to society. So the judge that presided over this case said that the evidence that was shown, which is the compound in filth, there was a dead kid in there as well, all right? But according to this judge, Sarah Backus, that's Backus, she said the prosecution had troubling and unusual evidence, but it failed to show that they were abusive to the children or were a threat to society. So what did Judge Backus do? She gave these Yehudis that were found to have this compound in the desert in New Mexico with 11 hungry and living in filth children, 1 child carcass. What did this judge do? This judge allows these Yehudis bail at $20,000. That's it. $20,000 bail, okay? Can you believe this? I mean, is this Yehudi justice for you in America today? Huh? Yehudi justice. All right? These Yehudis are found in a fucking middle of nowhere in New Mexico, have a compound. They've got these starving children that they're imprisoning. All right? They got them in filth. They're training them how to be school shooters and terrorists. There's a fucking rotting carcass of a dead kid. As a matter of fact, the kid that's dead is supposed to be this guy, Sadaj bin Wahaj's son. And according to reports, interviews with the children, and this is out of reports I've seen in the mainstream media, that the kid that died in this compound was being performed some kind of ritual to quote, get the evil out of him. So, I mean, you put all this together, and this judge, Sarah Backus, said that there was like no evidence that showed that these children were abused or these Yehudis were a threat to society. Can you believe this? There's a dead kid in this compound! And they gave these people $20,000? $20,000 in goddamn in bail? Isn't that like $2,000 technically? Just $2,000? And they're out in bail for training kids to how to commit jihad and starving them in filth and having 1 kid carcass dead? Yeah, $20,000. Anyway, the judge of this case obviously has taken some backlash. She's afraid for her life. She says she's gotten death threats, etc. I mean, I'm not condoning that, but come on, broad. I mean, give me a break. Why would you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you folks, in my opinion, just based on the evidence here, this seems to me like one of these CIA operations that just got busted out of nowhere. And now what you're finding happening to this New Mexico compound, folks, it was demolished. So any evidence that you want to go back to try to, kind of go over and, try to accumulate evidence, it's gone now. Okay, so there's no more New Mexico compound. And secondly, they're going to let these people go out on $20,000 in bond? And because this guy, who was the, I guess, head of the compound, Siraj Ibn Wahaj, is the son of this imam, I mean, this imam could probably get the bail money like that. And because, for whatever reason, the evidence of the compound was all bulldozed and, I guess, thrown away, there's no evidence. So the case is just going to kind of go away and fade into oblivion. And these people are going to walk the streets, even though they were found in a compound training children how to commit school shootings. I'm not joking, folks. I mean, they were training kids how to commit school shootings at this place. And that's why some of you people that are wondering about false flags when it pertains to school shootings, I mean, think about that for a second, okay? Take a look at the fucking Parkdale, Florida shooting, for instance. Who was this kid, Nicholas Cruz? Who was this kid? He was adopted by parents that are supposedly no longer alive. He was a Russian, okay, believe it or not, he was a Russian adopted into America and then just miraculously decided to do this shooting. Now, they're starting to release this Cruz kid who conducted this Parkdale shooting. They're starting to release his interrogation video, and this guy is acting completely insane. It's just completely insane. All right? I'm not even joking. I mean, it's completely insane. Now, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and get a drink here. Anyway, folks, this Cruz kid, if you have not taken a look at his video and how he reacts when he's just left alone in this interrogation room, he looks like somebody who went through these types of compounds or some kind of strenuous situation, what they call MK Ultra. Now, if you're not aware of MK Ultra, I would strongly advise you all to look it up. It's an actual CIA black operation in which they took unwilling participants to be mentally scarred for life in an attempt to try to break their will so that you can control their entire minds. Now, with that being said, the reason I bring up MK Ultra, and the reason I bring this up is because this is the kind of compound that they would be abusing kids and terrifying kids so that they can break their will, break their spirits, and be able to control them completely. This type of a New Mexico compound. And if you don't believe this, then that's fine. I'm just suggesting it. But I think that this is what this was, and that's why these people are getting $20,000 in bond. Nothing's going to happen to these people. There's a dead kid, who cares, in this compound. 11 kids starving and in filth, who cares? It's all going to be brushed under the rug because I believe that this is a black operations to train more children to conduct these violent acts. Now, if you don't believe that this exists, I'd like for you all, and I don't want to get too far into this, I just want you all to do your own research. I've talked about this a couple of years ago, but I'm going to talk about it again. You should research a guy by the name of Jeff Gannon. Jeff Gannon, believe it or not, was some made-up character that somebody made up. I don't know. And not to mention, he had unfettered access to the White House during the George W. Bush administration. He would be able, according to logs, the White House logs, he would go into the White House as late as 1, 2 in the morning. And he worked for a bogus publication, Jeff Gannon, and he was able to get himself a seat at the White House press corps, all through these fraudulent means of a fraudulent publication and, all this stuff. Now, the reason I bring up Jeff Gannon was because some investigative reporter found Jeff Gannon in a website called rentboy.com, in which Jeff Gannon was showed nude and basically pimping out his own wares on this rentboy.com. I mean, basically as a gay escort. Now, when all this hit the fan, the George W. Bush administration, everybody just kind of brushed that shit under the rug. I mean, so much so that I bet you none of you even remember it. But look it up. Look up Jeff Gannon. And the reason I bring him up, and the reason I bring up the fact that he was a fake news reporter that was put in the press corps that gave fake, bogus, softball questions to George W. Bush, that was all this crap, because the mother of a child who was abducted when he was about 14 or 13 years, I think 14 years old, by the name of Johnny Gosch. Johnny Gosch. Now, the mother of Johnny Gosch came out public and said that Jeff Gannon was the missing child, that she had been missing for decades. That Jeff Gannon was her child. Now, Johnny Gosch, folks, was kidnapped while he was 14 years old on a paper route. And he was, taken, but occasionally, according to the mother, there would be correspondence with Johnny Gosch in the case of a letter, or in one instance, she said that he came to visit her at 17 years old and, had a visiting, told him about the situation that they were in, etc., and never saw him again. And this woman claimed that Jeff Gannon was her son. Johnny Gosch, of course, if you take a look at his name, there's pictures of him, sick-ass pictures of him gagged and duct-taped and tied up, and those pictures were sent to his mom, etc. Anyway, why do I bring up that? Because this is how they program people. They program people as children. And when you can break people to the point where you can make them emotionalists and make them such liars that they believe their own lies and break their spirit, you can control their brain. That's what the whole MK Ultra thing's all about. And the reason I bring up the Jeff Gannon, Johnny Gosch situation was because no one knows where Jeff Gannon came from. When they tried to investigate this guy, no one knew who he was. No one could figure out where he came from. So very interesting, and that's why I think that this New Mexico compound, folks, it's going to be brushed under the rug. And I think it was a CIA operation to create more and more of these people to commit violence, especially young people. Because it's more shocking when it's young people committing mass violence, right? Because then we can have the arguments of, oh, well, we need more gun control. How did that young person get a gun? And more of our rights are taken away, folks. Anyway, I don't want to get too much further into that. Let's move on, man. We're running out of time. I got a bunch of garbage still to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about this because it is very important. Pennsylvania grand jury report details sexual abuse and torture of some 1,000 children over 7 decades by more than 300 members of the Catholic clergy. Can you believe this? Huh? Can you believe this? I mean, this is a Pennsylvania grand jury coming out with a report that details sexual abuse and torture of some 1,000 children, 1,000 children over 7 decades by more than 300 members of Catholic clergy. Now, how many more times are we going to have to allow the Catholic Church to take a mulligan on molesting these children before the people of the world wake up and realize that the Vatican and the Catholic Church needs to be taken down? All right? It needs to be taken down, even if it takes a multilateral force of countries to go in and remove these fucking cardinals, these goddamn popes, etc. How many more children have to be sexually abused and tortured by these priests? The Catholic Church at this point is a pedophile cult. It's been millions of children that have been, and look, I could be underestimating. I mean, remember, the Catholic Church is worldwide. Millions of children have been sexually abused by these sick maniacs. Why in the hell has no one held the Catholic Church accountable? Not even its own followers. How can you sick, demented Catholic Church followers swallow and accept this shit? This is the sexual abuse of children. This seems to be the common secret amongst the priesthood. And they all protected each other, folks. All of them all protected each other. I'm not joking around, folks. This should be the final straw of the Catholic Church. How many more of you people are going to stay silent and allow the fucking Catholic Church to continue to sexually abuse and torture children? How long are the people of the world going to stay silent? And you know what the Vatican put out today? You know what the fucking Pope said? Oh, we feel shame and sorrow for what we did. You know what? Fuck you. You whore of Babylon. That's what the fuck you are, the Catholic Church. You're the whore of Babylon. You people are evil. And if you don't think the Catholic Church is evil, you need to fucking wake the fuck up. All right? You need to wake up. These people in the Catholic Church are the serpents. I'm not kidding. I mean, how else can you describe and explain the activity that perpetually comes out? That these Catholic priests were molesting and abusing and torturing children all over the world. How many more fucking more evidence do you need? And this happened in Pennsylvania, folks. And we all know that Pennsylvania, I want to be honest with you, you folks in Pennsylvania, either y'all are a bunch of idiots or y'all are complicit, most of you sons of bitches, in all this sick, demented, pedophile bullshit. Because y'all remember, they swept old Jerry Sandusky's little pedophile habit under the rug. Y'all remember that? Oh, let's sweep Sandusky's pedophile history and all his sick molestations. Let's go ahead and sweep it under the rug because he's a good fucking football fucking coach for Penn State. I can't believe that you people would even allow Joe Paterno's stupid ass idol, his statue, to be at Penn State when this son of a bitch knew that this son of a bitch was raping teenage boys. And what's sad about it is that he was using a nonprofit organization to do so. Oh my God. And look, I'm not trying to talk shit about people in Pennsylvania, but you people need to realize that there's a lot of molestations coming around your pike over there, man. I mean, recently, wasn't Jerry Sandusky's son just recently taken down in a pedophile fucking ring takedown out there in fucking Pennsylvania? Fucking Jerry Sandusky's son! Like father, like son, they molest children. Good God! But like I said, folks, I want everybody to remember that once again, the Catholic Church has been exposed on being the evil whore of Babylon that they are. A bunch of pedophile cultists, because that's what this is at this point. If you're a follower of the Catholic Church, you have no soul. You're obliging the pedophile cult. You might as well move to Hollywood and sell your children to those fuckers over there. I'm telling you this right now, folks. You people need to realize that this pedophilia is real. And just in this mere Pennsylvania grand jury report, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Remember the Australian situation with that cardinal out there, or whatever the hell he was? I mean, how many fucking more times are we going to have to just give these fucking goddamn Catholics a pedophile mulligan? How many more times? They need to be held accountable, damn it! You people that worship the Catholic Church are complicit in the fucking molestation of these children. You people that worship the Catholic Church are complicit. You're complicit with robbing the innocents and torturing these children. Do you understand that? You fucking Catholic followers, I'm talking to you. Don't ignore this shit. You're following a pedophile cult. You're following a pedophile cult. Don't try to sit there and deny it. Don't try to sit there and deny it. It's the fucking truth, and you know it. You know it, and you still blindly follow this whore of Babylon. What kind of person does that make you? What kind of person does that make you? Christ! Over 1,000 children, 7 decades, 300 members of the Catholic Church clergy, for Christ's sake. Huh? Little secrets of the Catholic Church. It's time to start taking the Catholic Church down, damn it. It's time to start besmirching and talking down to the Catholic Church and not paying it any kind of respect whatsoever. No one should be paying respect to the Catholic Church. It's a pedophile cult. Do you hear me? Don't try to deny it. It's a fucking pedophile cult. Jesus Christ, man. How do you fucking Catholic Church worshiping assholes sleep at night? How do you fucking sleep at night, for Christ's sake, man? I fucking have no idea. Just thinking about this makes me want to have a drink, man. I'm not even kidding, man. This is fucking disgusting. You combine what the fucking Catholic Church is doing, what Hollywood is doing, the fact that 800,000 children go missing every year and no one gives a fuck. Oh, I'm a Democrat. I care about the immigrants being separated from their children. Shut the fuck up. You Democrats are fake. You're phony. 800,000 children go missing every goddamn year. And guess where the most concentrated areas of children going missing is? The area around Washington, D.C., Maryland. Oh, and that's a fucking fact. That's a fact. Is that a coincidence? We live in a fucking sick world, man. Wake up. Anyway, I'm moving on, man. Once again, I mean, this goddamn Catholic Church needs to be held accountable, and we need to hold their asses accountable, for Christ's sake, man. Stop worshiping this whore of Babylon. Anyway, folks, let's get to some international relations news, for Christ's sake. All right, let me calm my ass down. And let's talk a little bit about China. Now, during the financial sector or section of the broadcast, I did mention that China is capitulating when it comes to this trade war. They are now sending a delegation over to the United States in an attempt to stop this trade war. And even though it looks like they may be bowing down, as they're sending the delegation, folks, China is stepping up its military funding and stepping up its military exercises, etc. I don't know if you read the report today, but the Pentagon is warning that China is training to strike the United States Pacific coast. And the reason they're doing this, in my opinion, and they are currently having training sessions to do this, but the reason they're doing this is because they want to maintain honor. And I want to be completely honest with you. You know what, China? I think that if you think you've got the balls to come at the United States of America, I say bring it on, you dumb pieces of goddamn crap. We'll blindfold you with dental floss and then anal rape you with your goddamn egg rolls and chopsticks, you piece of crap. All right? And by the way, you're not going to do anything. You're just saber-rattling. But I'm going to be completely honest with you, folks. I think that we're going to come to some kind of an agreement when it comes to this tariff war between the United States and China. But we are going to see the intelligence agencies and the black operations in the United States, and I've said this in the past couple of shows, the Yehudi Islamic terrorist assets that have been used against the United States citizens since George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, etc., they are now being used against our foes in the international community. And one of them is going to be China. Now, y'all remember when I said that China was going to start having a terrorist Muslim problem? It's starting to become a reality. Now, from what I understand, because China did not appreciate the United Nations report that the Chinese are kind of putting Uyghurs, which is the Chinese Muslim minority in China, the Uyghurs, I'm not even kidding, it is spelled Uighur, and believe it or not, that's how you pronounce it, Uyghurs. But they are putting as many Uyghurs as they possibly can into re-education camps. And I don't think it was an accident that the UN put out this report, because I personally believe that ever since this goddamn United Nations put out this report about Uyghurs being put in re-education camps, have you taken a look at all the reports that have come out in the mainstream American media about the Uyghurs? I mean, take a look at it for yourself. I mean, Google up Uighurs and take a look at all the reports that are pro-Uyghurs and against China, and that are trying to chastise China as being oppressors of the Uyghurs. Now, what is that trying to do? That's trying to inflame the jihadists that are all over the international community. And what's going to happen, folks, is they're going to try to converge either on mainland China themselves, or now that China is putting itself into the Syrian front, now that it's deploying troops and building infrastructure in Africa, I personally believe that we're going to start seeing Islamic terrorist actions on China assets, if not in mainland China, throughout the international community. And I'm talking about the infrastructure programs that they've got in Africa. I'm talking about any interest they have in the international community is going to be hit up. And they're going to justify it, the jihadists, because of the oppression of the Uyghurs in mainland China. I'm telling you, folks, you all think that I'm lying. This is what the policy is. I mean, like I said in the last broadcast, what happened to ISIS? Remember ISIS during Obama's administration? Oh my God, we can't stop it. We got them on the run, and they're chopping people's heads off. They're killing Christians and all this other bullshit, and we just can't stop them. And they're this big, huge force and shit. And remember during the 2016 campaign when Trump said that he would eliminate ISIS, he would wipe ISIS off the face of the earth. You remember that? How come you haven't heard about ISIS anymore? It seems like ISIS has just gone away. Why? Because ISIS was a CIA black operation. And we have been in control of the Yehudis, these Muslim jihadists, ever since the Afghan-Russian war, folks. I mean, all you have to do is just research the Afghan-Russian war. We were the ones that created these Islamic terrorists, these Islamic Yehudis. I mean, we're the United States. These are our assets. Now, unfortunately, we had globalists at the helm of our government for the past couple of presidencies, past several presidencies, and they utilized those jihadist assets against the United States. Hence why we had so much jihadist terrorism on American soil, on American interest, etc. But now that Trump's in office, he canceled ISIS going after the United States citizens, that policy, and he's now utilizing those jihadist assets against our foes. And I'm telling you, folks, we are going to see a major Muslim problem hit the Chinese. And I don't think they're going to know how to deal with it. I don't think they're going to know how to deal with it. And lest we forget, man, I mean, this also coincides with us thinning out the Muslim herd. I'm not trying to be a bad guy, but that's obviously a motive on the foreign policy realm because there's a lot of Muslims, man. There's like 1.3 billion Muslims on the planet. 1.3 billion Muslims. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that 10% of those 1.3 billion are jihadists. I mean, that is more than the population of the United States that are jihadists all over the world. And I think that what I just mentioned was a conservative estimate. So we can't really, as Americans, confront the Yehudis and, massively, kill them off in a war. We can't do that. It's against our interest to do so. But what we can do is instigate these Yehudis in a foreign policy that kind of forces them into a combative situation with one or two different entities. And that's exactly what the foreign policy of America is, folks. And I've told you this. I mean, am I QAnon or something? I mean, I've told you why this was good, why all this is happening. And I predicted all this. I said that China was going to begin to have a Muslim problem. It's having a Muslim problem. Just wait until terrorist acts start happening either in mainland China or in China's interest in the international community. And it's all because of the Uyghurs, all right? The Uyghurs are at the center of it all right? The fucking Uyghurs. Anyway, let me move on, folks. I want to talk a little bit about Turkey, because Turkey, as I've stated in the past several broadcasts, Turkey is partying like it's 1929 right now because of the economic irresponsibility and ignorance of the head of state of Turkey, Erdogan. Now, with that being said, folks, I was concerned about Turkey because Turkey's head of state, Erdogan, seems very, very hawkish when it comes to military endeavors. It's as if, and I think that he has said this a couple of times, he wants to reunify the geography of the Ottoman Empire. And to do that, and to, reunify the Ottoman Empire geographically, you're going to have to use some hardcore military might. Now, we have seen him go into the northern Iraq region and the Euphrates area to kind of get rid of the Kurds. He's also made mention that he wants Bashar al-Assad removed as the leader of Syria. But what I was concerned about Turkey with was the foreign policy that America has right now, folks. And if you don't see this transpiring before your eyes, then you don't know foreign policy. But America is trying to pit the Saudi Arabians against the Iranians. And this way they have a major war. They're kind of thinning out their own herds. They're basically bankrupting their own countries. There's a lot of benefits for the United States if we pit a war against Saudi Arabia and Iran. And what I was afraid of is that Turkey was going to act much like Mao Zedong was during the invasion of Japan and China, when Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists had to confront the Japanese during the invasion, and all these damn guerrilla communist fighters led by Mao Zedong had to do was flank both of these people, or flank both of these goddamn militaries when they were engaging each other. And that's what really won China militarily for Mao, was flanking an invading force with the occupying force, and they didn't know what hit them. And that's what I was hoping, or that's what I was concerned with, I should say, when it came to Turkey. Turkey would have been perfect to flank both the Saudi Arabians and Iran so that Erdogan can make Turkey the epicenter of the Middle East. And once again, reunify geographically the Ottoman Empire. But my president, one of the greatest president, if not, it is the greatest president. Fuck that. The greatest president, Donald Trump, thought ahead of time, baby. All right, thought ahead of time, and he said, you know what? Let's cut off Turkey at the past. And let's throw some sanctions on them, since they're already seeing their goddamn currency fall to piss. Let's add on to that decline of the Turkish lira by adding sanctions on, baby. And you know what? Erdogan has no idea what the fuck to do. As I mentioned on the last broadcast, he's boycotting United States electronics. I wonder how that's going to go over with the people. And he's also putting a tariff on United States alcohol. What is it, 140%? And other U.S. goods. But who gives a crap, man? You're not hurting America. And because you have too much pride in yourself there, Erdogan, and refuse to bow down to the United States, and instead of sucking the schlong head of Vladimir Putin, you'll be bowing down and kissing the ring of Donald Trump. Because you don't want to do that, I think that you're going to be overthrown from within your own country. And this ain't going to be a fake coup like the one you threw on yourself, Erdogan, back in July of 2016. This is going to be a real coup because people are starving, okay? And your Turkish lira is meaningless. It's worthless. And guess what? Because Erdogan isn't bowing down, and because Erdogan is thinking that, he could just kind of talk his way out of this current situation and call the president an economic terrorist and, saying America stabbed him in the back and all this other crap, the president is planning on putting more sanctions against Turkey. Huh? What did I tell you, baby? Donald Trump and America is unleashing economic warfare on the world, and our foes don't know how to react to it. Because let's say Erdogan is so pissed that he wants to throw something at us militarily. And if he does, he would be screwing himself, because he's not going to, first of all, have enough money to pay for his military to engage in such a battle. And secondly, when his troops are communicating back home, they're not going to be too ambitious to fight when they realize that their families are out in the street and they're starving, and the whole goddamn Turkey, the country of Turkey, is looking a lot like fucking Venezuela. All right? So, like I said, Donald Trump literally cut this guy off at the pass. That's why Erdogan doesn't know what to do. Remember before, he was talking all kinds of mad shit. He was like, oh, the United States, and fuck you, and Israel, the Muslim world must go against Israel, and we must unify. I mean, he was just talking all this mad shit. Now, It seems as if Erdogan has got himself a fat shit sandwich in his mouth and doesn't know what the hell to say. Huh? I'm telling you, Erdogan, I don't think that you're going to last very long if you keep playing these games. Hell, even the Chinese have capitulated and are sending a delegation next week to try to end the tariff war, because if they keep going and playing this economic game with America, their house of cards of an economy is going to come tumbling down. It's already having a negative impact. I mean, take a look at the Chinese stocks. Take a look at the Chinese economy. The Chinese banks are apprehensive on lending. I mean, it's already affecting their economy, and that's why the Chinese are like, look, we're going to have to capitulate. We got to send a delegation over there to the United States. We got to end the tariff war. But you, Erdogan, you are refusing to do so. And you think that by, I don't know, flexing nuts, that by somehow we're going to capitulate. We're not going to capitulate. And, you know, at this point, Erdogan, all you have to do is just give up that fucking pastor. You know, I mean, that dude's become the figurehead of really what's going on. Because, look, it's not about the pasture. It's about everything that I just mentioned. To deter Turkey from flexing nuts and trying to flank a war between Saudi Arabia and Iran, to stop Erdogan from his endeavor of trying to reunify geographically the Ottoman Empire, all that shit. And that's, you know, this economic sanctions and, you know, Turkey partying like it's 1929 put a stop to that shit. I love my president, man! Anyway, we shall see how Erdogan is going to get off of this one. We shall see. Anyway, finally, folks, I want to talk a little bit about Afghanistan. Now, you all remember how I said that our policy in Afghanistan has changed. Now, we are actually in negotiations with the Taliban to somehow integrate themselves with the government. Now, the Afghan government that we put in, what was it, almost 18 years ago, doesn't want to have anything to do with the Taliban. And the reason that we're changing our position as it pertains to our view of the Taliban is because the interim government, or the government in Afghanistan that we put in, is a complete corrupt nothing burger. It's a corrupt piece of governing shit. They can't take care of the people. They don't have the will of the people. They don't have a fighting force that'll protect the integrity of the government itself. If the United States left, the government would be no more, and the Taliban would take over like it was going out of style. So what we're doing right now, folks, because you're seeing a lot of action in Afghanistan, if you've been keeping up with it, a lot of Taliban attacks on Afghan forces, a lot of Afghan attacks on bases and government buildings. And the only thing the United States is doing right now is aiding the Afghan forces by mere airdrops, you know, bombing attacks. That's it. We're not confronting or aiding the Afghan forces in hand-to-hand combat with the Taliban. And the reason we're kind of allowing the Taliban to come in and implement these types of attacks on the Afghan government is because we're kind of just throwing our hands in the air to a certain degree and saying, look, y'all got to battle it out. You know, it's like two people on a football field in football practice that are shit-talking each other, and it's like, look, take your helmets off, take your goddamn pads off, we're going to throw a circle around you, and you two are going to have to fight each other out until either both of y'all either shake hands and say, you know what, we can work as a team, or the other one throws the other one in the hospital. I mean, that's just the way it has to be. And that's what the new policy in Afghanistan is for America. That's why you're having these attacks by the Taliban be so successful against the Afghan government, because we're not helping the Afghan government outside of dropping some bombs from planes. That's it. Now, what is going to happen? Now, what's going to happen is either the Afghan government and the Taliban are going to come to some kind of an agreement, and they're going to come to some kind of government, or the Taliban is going to completely take it over. Either way, the United States is not leaving, per se, but we will have an open-door policy with whoever the governing authority is of Afghanistan. Now, why are we taking this approach with the Taliban? Because, folks, we want to use the Taliban as a force to agitate the Chinese. Because remember, the Pakistanis educated the Taliban. That's where the Taliban comes from. The Taliban are nothing more than religious students that come from the madrasas of Pakistan, and they came down in Afghanistan and took it completely over because they were dedicated and motivated by the religious teachings of the madrasas. And that's why when the Taliban took over, they tried to instill a 12th century version of Islam that eliminated any kind of modernity whatsoever. And, of course, they put the women in the beekeeper suits and all this other stuff. Well, unfortunately, folks, the United States tried to give democracy to Afghanistan. Not only do they not want it, they don't know how to handle it. And the infrastructure that the United States has spent, I don't know how many trillions in Afghanistan, in an attempt to try to help these people get a running sewage line and electricity into these villages, has all been for naught, folks. So now we have to readjust our strategy. And like I said, we're not going to be friends with the Taliban. But the Taliban at this point knows that if they keep this shit going with the United States, that the United States is going to continue, and they're going to continue, and it's going to be a never-ending battle. I mean, they've already battled each other for 17, almost 18 years. It's time for both sides to say, all right, look, what do you want? What do you want? I want, representation in the country. Well, then you've got to figure that out with the Afghan government, etc. Now, what does that mean for the United States troops? You know what I'm saying? What does this mean for the United States troops out here? I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means that the United States troops may be able to come home because, according to the president, we don't want our boys to be out there conducting any kind of operations in Afghanistan any longer. No. We're going to send in Blackwater, baby. You understand that? The Mercs at Blackwater to take over the United States presence in Afghanistan. And what did I always tell you about Blackwater, baby? If something ever happened to me, I'm not calling the cops, I'm calling Blackwater, because these are some brutal mercenaries that have no conscience other than to get paid to conduct military mercenary operations. Now, with that being said, by having this strategy of paying mercenaries from Blackwater to be the presence of the United States in Afghanistan, puts more pressure on the Afghanis, or I should say the Taliban. It puts more pressure on the Taliban to kind of play ball with the United States. Because currently, the United States military is under all kinds of Geneva Convention codes and international laws. That's why every time the United States goes into any place on a military basis, they have all these rules, and they can't they can't do this and they can't do that. I mean, they've got all these rules for war. Well, I'm telling you right now, with Blackwater, that's thrown out the window. All right? With Blackwater, that is thrown out the window. There is no Geneva Convention. There is no, court-martialing. I mean, these guys can go out and be as brutal of killers against the Taliban as the Taliban. Now, that's not what we want. What we're wanting is some kind of government solution that either integrates both the Afghan government that we've been supporting for 17 years and the Taliban, or just the Taliban. But we are not leaving Afghanistan. We are not. And like I said, we're going to replace our troops with fucking badass Blackwater mercenaries. And let's see the Taliban think that they're badass when we got fucking badass, bloodthirsty mercenaries from Blackwater that are going to go out there and kick their Afghani asses all over the fucking rock-filled terrain piece of garbage whole country. And I think this is a great foreign policy, man. It's a great foreign policy. Because remember, we're trying to put the pressure on China and Russia. And because we, the United States, and our black operations and CIA and our intelligence agencies have control of most of the Yehudi, jihadist Muslim assets in the international community, then it behooves us to position these guys so that they can make the most terrorist damage to our foes. And this is the new foreign policy, folks. I know it sounds sick. I know many of you out there think that no, Ghost, this is not how foreign policy is. We can do world peace and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. This is political science, boy. And political science is defined like this. This is my definition, and it should be the definition of every dictionary. Political science is the ability to control the perception of a mass group of people in a geographic area. That's what political science is all about. If you can control the perception of a mass people in a geographic area, then you're winning the political science game. Then you are a political scientist. Because that's all it is. All it is being able to convince people to have the will to fight for you. The will to believe in you. That's all political science is, man. Anyway, folks, that is it. It is, what is this? We're already 1 minute into the fourth hour. I'm kicking back in the True Capitalist Radio chat room here in about 25 minutes. I want to say what's going on to everybody in there. Once again, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all you've got to do, folks, is go to my Gab account right now. Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, and hit the subscribe button for premium content, okay? Hit the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and direct message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I'll make sure to give you a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. Now, starting in May, okay, when it comes to the subscriptions to the True Capitalist Radio chat room, starting in May, what we're going to do, folks, is for everybody who's been paying monthly in May, we are going to start a physical newsletter, all right? So everybody who pays in May, because this, you know, I have to take inventory of who's been paying, who isn't. There's been a couple of you faggots that haven't paid, so I'm going to have to kick you out. But either way, we're going to start a physical newsletter in which I will physically mail you out a physical newsletter relating to not only the broadcast, but certain very important information when it comes to politics, when it comes to things that are capitalist related, etc. Now, the reason I'm doing this, folks, is just in case that we have an Alex Jones situation on us and they try to shut us down, if they try to shut down our website, if they try to shut down our broadcast, we will be able to contact you guys, all right, and still have some level of communication amongst the capitalists within the group here. We will still have the ability to be able to do stuff. And not to mention this newsletter that's going to be physically delivered on a monthly basis. I'm going to start the first one late May, send it out in late May, and then we're going to continue on another one in late June, another one in late August, etc. And once we do that, we're going to keep everybody in a physical database, not one that's online. So everything that I'm collecting as far as anybody giving me their address to this newsletter is going to be physical. It's not going to be put on an internet. It's going to be put in these filing cabinets. I got some filing cabinets up in here like the old days. All right? So there's nobody that's going to hack and find out your information or any of that shit. All right? We're straight going the old days, and we're going to just try to keep in contact with the entire True Capitalist Radio community that are in the chat room and that are a part of the broadcast. We want to give them a newsletter. So once again, next month is going to be the newsletter. So just letting y'all know, man. And not to mention, come on down, man. Be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. We do all kinds of internet tomfoolery in here. Last night we tried to have some prank calls going on because we got a dialer bot in the damn chat room in which, whenever we want to conduct tomfoolery, we can actually put the dialer bot into the chat room and everybody can participate in the prank call, man. I'm not even kidding around, man. I mean, this is modern day technology, baby. I mean, all kinds of internet tomfoolery on top of us talking about capitalism and politics and international relations, etc. I mean, on a Friday night like this, Saturday night, this is what we like to do. This is what we like to do, baby, all right? So come on down. Once again, go to my Gab account, all right? Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, and hit the subscribe button for premium content, okay? And like I said, for some of you guys that have been with us already for many months, you can go ahead and I'll get your address in a DM on Discord. And what I'll do is I'll, erase that or, try to erase it as soon as possible so it won't be on any kind of digital form. That's what I like about Gab. When you message me any information on Gab, it's deleted within 7 days. Even if there's no saving shit on Gab's direct messages. So that makes things a lot safer. And I want to make things safer for everybody who is involved in the newsletter. So that's why it's going to be, everything is going to be in physical file, like papers, like physical fucking files, man, instead of putting it online. Now, the reason I'm doing this, folks, is because Alex Jones, I hate to bring him back up, but he tried to have a contingency plan that was similar to this, but instead of getting regular mailing addresses, he decided that he was going to get an email list. Now, the unfortunate part about it is that he didn't even use his own servers. He didn't even use his own stuff. Like he couldn't even buy some kind of PHP software that he can run on his goddamn server so that it can be the email. He couldn't even do that, folks. He ran his email list through MailChimp. Yeah. He ran his email list through MailChimp, and they ganked his goddamn email list of I don't know how many millions of people. They just literally took that away, and now he's kind of shit out of luck, man. I'm not even kidding around. I'm not even joking around, man. And not to mention, by the way, on this newsletter, I am going to have a return address for everybody, just in case you guys want to correspond with me as well. That's right. We're going to have an address on the goddamn newsletter. So we got a lot of things going on, man. So I encourage you, come on down. All right, join the chat room. I'm going to be in here in it's about 9:36. Give me about till 10:15. I got to go, I got to kick back, man. I got to put up the shows on Ghost.Report. I got to go see what's up with Mrs. Ghost. I got to walk out Templeton, etc. But this is what is planned for May, okay? May, and this is going to be a monthly newsletter giving everybody the 411. And this is to just in case, like a just in case situation. Okay? Like a just in case situation. Because I don't want to end up like Alex Jones, baby. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, man, I got this big badass email list, and then, all of a sudden something happens and they just take that shit away. They're going to have to come in to my office and pry the goddamn hidden papers of everybody's info out of my dead hands. And this will keep us all tight. This will keep us all together. This will keep us, capitalists corresponding with one another, even if they take away the internet, etc. So I'm looking forward to that, folks. I hope that you all are too. Once again, go to my Gab account, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, and hit the subscribe button for premium content. All right, baby? All right? Anyway, I'm out of here. All right? I'm out of here. I want everybody to know that I love the way the show has been directing itself. I love the fact that we are straight serious finance, straight political dope. I mean, we're hardcore, baby. We are definitely doing things. As a matter of fact, we're getting so serious, folks. We got people trying to list Ghost.Report as, quote, fake news. And you know something? I don't understand why they would label me fake news. Every one of my articles, I've got like at least 5 or 6 links. And I purposely try to provide links to like liberal fucking outlets like New York Times and Washington Post so that these idiots can't deny that it's fucking fake. They can't say, oh, it's fake. Well, yeah, you think the New York Times is fake, you liberal faggot? You think that the Washington Post is fake? There's nothing fake about the straight political dope that yours truly gives on this broadcast, on my blog, and anywhere else. Anyway, I am out of here, folks. I had a great time doing this broadcast on this Baller Friday. And, hey, tomorrow we're going to try to see, if you're a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, we're going to try to see if we can get a movie night going on tomorrow. Cross my fingers. This is going to be my first time doing some kind of movie situation. So if you are a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, I'm thinking about some 9-ish, 9:30-ish. See if we can't, play a nice movie, watch it together. You know how it is, man. Anyway, I'm out of here, folks. Okay? I'm getting the hell out of here. Baller Friday. I'm going to be back Monday, 6:30 p.m., Central Standard Texas Time. Once again, on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, Ghost.Report. Okay? Ghost.Report. It's as simple as that. And by the way, folks, I do want to remind everybody we do have merch. We do have merch, baby. All you got to do is check out all the cool apparel. We got Ghost.Report merch. We got True Capitalist Radio merch. We got Russian Hacker merch. And not to mention, we got Remove Kebab merch. We got all kinds of merch. Check it out. Hopefully you like something. If you do, I appreciate it. If you don't, well, keep looking. We're going to keep putting in more and more merch so that you guys can, if you like something, you can be like, hey, you know what? I don't mind that. Let me go ahead and take that and support the show. And by the way, I want to thank Pepe the Frog and a couple of other people who donated to the cryptocurrency wishing well. I really do appreciate it. I think it was Pepe the Frog that hooked it up with some Zcash. I want to thank some of you other guys that are contributing and helping the show, because I'm telling you, take a look at what's going on. I mean, did y'all hear? I don't like Richard Spencer. I think he's a faggot. I think that he's a socialist. If you want my opinion, I think he's also a Russian agent with his whore wife. But they removed him from not only Patreon, but they canceled his fucking MasterCard because he was Richard Spencer. So this only underscores why we need cryptocurrency, and it's important that we start doing business and supporting one another via cryptocurrency, because there should be no way that any financial institution has the authority to do this to anybody. And I hate Richard Spencer. I think he's a fucking idiot. But, the fucking dumbass banks and these credit card companies have no fucking moral right to be the moral police on who should get credit, who should have banking privileges, etc. That's why cryptocurrency is so fucking important, and that's why I encourage everybody who appreciates this show, man, even if you're just throwing a couple of bucks into the cryptocurrency wishing well, you're actually aiding the continuation and the sustenance of this broadcast. And remember, we don't have anybody advertising on us. This is a pure independent, 100% independent radio broadcast. And you guys are supporting it, man, and that's why you hear such honesty. That's why you hear straight political dope, and that's why I'm giving out millions upon millions of dollars of information in the financial hour, baby. Anyway, I'm out of here, baby. You better be here Monday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Until then, long live the capitalist army and death to feminism, death to socialism, and death to communism. You're goddamn right. I hope that you have a great weekend and a great Baller Friday. I'm out of here. Woo!